Chapter 371. Once, I saw the boss of the domain insect materials bowing his head as he followed behind Tian Muwan. At first, I thought that it was just business dealings. Later on, I received an anonymous letter saying that the domain worm materials belonged to the Tian family and told me to stop doing this. Only then did I understand. Ning Ruolin spoke while looking at Ning Cheng with some worry in her eyes. She was afraid that her big brother would not be able to forget that Tian Muwan, as such she did not say too much. Ning Cheng understood Ruolin's meaning, but he did not explain it. At that time, he did not understand why Tian Muwan would treat him like that, although Tian Muwan had said that the difference between them was too big. However, Ning Cheng had always believed that this was not the true meaning of Tian Muwan's words. At that time, Tian Muwan simply did not give him the opportunity to ask. Now that he had returned, he no longer wanted to know the reason. What's more, Tian Muwan not only did not answer him about Ruolan's whereabouts, she did not even have the interest to ask him where he had been these past few years. Let bygones be bygones. Everyone had their own path to walk. When Tian Muwan took out her bank card and gave it to him, Ning Cheng understood that the two of them were already in the past. Tian Muwan was the clearest about his character. If he had taken a fancy to the Tian clan's money, then Tian Muwan would not have been together with him a long time ago. Since Tian Muwan knew his character and still gave him her bank card, then there was nothing else to say. Does Tian Muwan know that you opened a company? Ning Cheng knew that he should not ask this question, but he could not help but ask it. Ning Ruolin shook her head. She should not know that my company is so small that it is not even worth mentioning in her eyes. Ning Cheng felt inexplicably relieved in his heart. If Tian Muwan came to know that Ruolan had opened a company, and still attacked and plotted against him, then he would have been very sad. He would not even be able to accept it. As for the reason, he couldn't tell himself. Perhaps it was because he himself did not want the person he once liked to treat Ruolin this way. Then why do you live here? Ning Cheng immediately put aside Tian Muwan's matter. He wanted to take his younger sister away from this place. As for Tian Muwan, he would not have any interaction with her in the future. Dai Xen motioned Ning Ruolin to take a break. Let me talk about it. Ruolin and I did not intend to spend the night in the 100 Bay Point. The 100 Bay Point was now equivalent to a mixed zone, a place where strength spoke in place of the law. It was very dangerous here. After Ruolan and I arrived, we didn't do anything, we just wanted to buy some cheap insect materials. Because I wanted to take a look at the grade of the insect nuclei Ruolan, and I entered a merchant house that specialized in selling insect nuclei in the 100 Bay Point. There weren't many people in that merchant house, but because I wanted to ask Ruolan about an insect nucleus, my hand accidentally bumped into a person on the side. That person was holding a wooden box with an insect nucleus in his hand. When I touched it, the wooden box fell to the ground, and the insect nucleus actually shattered. When Ning Cheng heard this, he immediately realized that Dai Xian and Ruolan were being blackmailed. It was almost the same as a scam. If an insect nucleus could break so easily, then it would not be a monster nucleus. Sure enough, Dai Xian continued, that man immediately grabbed me and asked me to compensate 20 million yuan. He said that his insect nucleus is a very high-grade insect nucleus, and I broke his insect nucleus, so I must compensate him. Ruolan and I only have less than 2 million yuan in total. This money was left by my parents when I got married. So, where would I get 20 million yuan? Ruolin knew something was wrong, so she pulled me and ran away. Ning Ruolan spoke up, Big brother, you don't know how terrible the compensation for destroying other people's things would be. If Dai Xian and I could not come up with 20 million yuan, then they could directly take us away and do whatever they want with us. Even if we were beaten to death on the street, there would not be any problem. Dai Xen spoke up in fear. That's right, elder brother Xiaoqing. If Ruolan had not pulled me into the Weiseben Hotel, then we would have already died. Even so, a bullet still passed through Ruolan's arm. Fortunately, it did not injure her bones. Ning Cheng suddenly stood up, his eyes turning red. Ruolan was unexpectedly injured, and it was even a bullet wound? He had seen Ruolan, but he had not even noticed it until now. Big brother, I'm fine. It's just some external injuries, but it's much better now. Ning Ruolan, on seeing her big brother's crazy appearance, quickly comforted him. Ning Cheng suppressed the anger in his heart and spoke, "Ruolan, show me the wound." Ning Ruolan pulled down her robe a bit. Ning Ruolan's white arm was wrapped in a layer of white gauze, and blood was oozing out. From this, it could be seen that the wound had not healed. Although Ruolan had met him, she had not shown it, fearing that Ning Cheng would worry about her. This group of trash. Ning Cheng clenched his fists. He wanted to start a massacre. This bullet, as long as it deviated a bit, would have directly pierced through Ruolan's heart. At that time, even a great principal golden immortal would not have any way to save Ruolan. "Big brother, I'm much better, you don't have to worry about me." Seeing Ning Cheng clenching his fists tightly, Ning Ruolan quickly comforted him. This time, her big brother seemed to have gained some special skills. Ning Ruolan also knew that those experts who could easily kill insects were also very powerful. Ning Cheng calmed down his mood and helped Ning Ruolan untie the gauze while speaking. "Of course I'm not worried, it's them that I'm worried about." Elder brother Xiaoqing, this hotel is the property of one of the 5 major experts in the world, Delandi. As long as you live in this hotel, no one would dare to look for trouble. However, the person who plotted against me and Ruolan also has some skills. They did not have any way to drive us away directly, but they let the hotel management tell us that because we specifically came here to seek protection, as such the accommodation fee has increased by 10 times. Not only that, but the price of meals is also sky high. Dai Xn, on seeing Ning Cheng calm and composed, also slowly eased up. Ning Cheng took out a medicinal pill and put it into Ning Ruolan's mouth, before placing his hand on Ning Ruolan's wound and spoke, "They will pay us back many times over." Ning Ruolan felt that her originally painful wound had turned a bit hot, but then it also turned a bit cool and numb. "Ah, Ruolan, your wound?" Dai Xian stared at Ning Ruolan's arm in shock. When elder brother Xiaoqing had placed his hand on Ruolan's arm, the wound was still very obvious. But now that elder brother Xiaoqing had taken his hand away, the wound had disappeared without a trace, leaving behind only white and smooth skin. Ning Ruolan also looked at her arm with a dumbfounded expression. The wound had disappeared, but she did not feel even the slightest bit of pain. Instead, she felt a sense of strength. "Big brother." Elder brother Xiaoqing. Dai Xian and Ning Ruolan both looked at Ning Cheng. Thinking of Grey Tutut's ability to casually turn things into nothing, the two people's eyes immediately shone. After Ning Cheng thought about how to explain it, he finally spoke up, "I'll talk about my past few years. Ruolan, you and Dai Xen should not find it strange after listening to it. Even I myself came to know that in the vast universe, there are many more planets with life than just Earth." After more than 2 hours, Ning Cheng finally gave a brief account of his experiences and finally spoke, "From now on, I will still be called Ning Cheng. The name Ning Xiaoqing will remain on Earth as a memory." There were some memories that Ning Cheng did not want to think about. Ning Ruolan looked at Ning Cheng in shock and asked, "Big brother, is that really because of you? Then how did Tian Mu Wan know that you had an accident there? She took me to the viaduct to look for you." At that time, Tian Mu Wan had crazily run towards the viaduct with her, and Tian Mu Wan's sad appearance at the bottom of the viaduct. She later thought that Tian Mu Wan was pretending, but she did not expect that such a thing really happened. "You said that Tian Mu Wan knew that I had an accident at the viaduct?" Ning Cheng asked with a frown. It stood to reason that he was taken away by the mysterious yellow bead, as such no one would know about it. Muan said that she had an image of you standing on the viaduct in her mind, and then the meteorite fell? Ning Ruolan saw her big brother's complexion change slightly, and quickly spoke up. "Muan was crying under the viaduct, and was later taken away by her family. I searched everywhere for you, but I couldn't find you. Heartbroken, I went to school to look for her. I'm sorry, big brother." Ning Ruolan spoke while lowering her head. The days without her big brother were the darkest times of her life. If anyone hurt her brother, she would fight to the death. "Ruolan, don't apologize to me in the future. I feel that everything you've done for me is right. What big brother has done for you is what I should do. We have always depended on each other since childhood. What else can compare to this kind of familial love?" Ning Cheng gently stroked Ning Ruolin's hair, while secretly making up his mind that he would never let his younger sister worry about him in the future. Ning Ruolin leaned on Ning Cheng's body in a very well-behaved manner. She once again recalled the memories of her childhood with her big brother. It seemed very far away, but it also seemed to be right in front of him. Big brother Xiaocheng, can true cultivators really fly? Then can Ruolin and I cultivate? Diaxian's eyes not only shone, even her heart was pounding wildly. If she could fly, then even in her dreams she might even laugh out loud. Ning Cheng smiled and spoke. You should be able to cultivate. When the time comes, you will know. But there is one thing, no matter what level you cultivate to, you must not think that you are very powerful. Even on Earth, there are also similar true cultivators. Ning Cheng immediately thought of Tian Muwan. He did not know where Tian Muwan cultivated, but she was at Qi Gathering 4th level and wanted to fly, but she was still far from being able to do so. Even if she wanted to fly, she did not have a flying sword or a flight-type artifact. Since Tian Muwan could cultivate, then it meant that there were people who were more powerful than Tian Muwan. Big brother Xiaocheng, are there really people who cultivate here? Dai Exin was shocked by Ning Cheng's words. There are definitely people who cultivate, but even if they do not cultivate, their martial arts cultivation is also very powerful. I heard that once a person cultivates to the pinnacle of martial arts, they would also be very fearsome. Moreover, their strength would not be any less than that of a true cultivator. Therefore, even if you are a true cultivator, you must still be careful. Ning Cheng exhorted her for the second time. He knew that there were martial cultivators here, but he did not know much about them. He had seen Yi Hui a few days ago, and his strength was also very good. The reason why he exhorted Diaxen was because Ning Cheng intended to take away Ruolin, but he did not have the means to take away Diaxian. Moreover, Diaxian's parents and family were also here, so it was impossible for them to leave. Big brother, we have to pay for the accommodation. There are only 2 days left. Knowing that her big brother was a true cultivator, and had even come back from the distant starry skies, coupled with his extraordinary skills, Ning Ruolin felt a lot more at ease than before. Ning Cheng pondered for a moment and spoke. I will first restore my cultivation to the essence-building realm. It will take about 2 days. Grey Toot Toot will stay outside. Chapter 372. May I ask what's the matter? After knowing that her big brother Xiaocheng was a true cultivator, Diaxian no longer had the fear she had when she first moved in. Young Master Yen, I just got the news that Ning Ruolin and Diaxian did not seem to have any abnormalities in the hotel, nor did they show any symptoms of starvation. Not only that, but they also spoke in a very rude manner. The video has already been sent back. A young woman walked up to the man and spoke in a respectful voice. How could Grey Tutut's vision be bad? The things that it brought back were the most nutritious and tasty things. It would be a strange thing if the two of them lost weight. Monk, don't call me Little Do, I'm called Delandy. Delandy? Delandy muttered. Yes, young Master Yen, she is Ning Ruolin. I wanted to catch this woman and bring her back to young Master Yen, but I did not expect that she would escape into the dimensional Ben Hotel. Tian Huanyu immediately seized the opportunity and spoke up. Diaxian quickly comforted her. Ruolin, you don't have to worry. Big brother Xiaocheng said that it is normal for him to go into seclusion for many days. It has only been 2 days. Delandy rarely appears in the hotel. This is just one of his countless properties. He would only come here a few times a year at most. This is also because the 100 Bay Point has many good things. Otherwise, even if he comes here once a year, he might not even come here. Ning Ruolin spoke with worry. Diaxian quickly spoke up. Elder brother Xiaocheng, the hotel's people came over and said that our accommodation fee has arrived, and wanted to drive us out. Young Master Yan's anger instantly disappeared. He sat down and nodded to Tian Huanyu and spoke. Good, you did a good job. Bring her to me tonight, I want to use her tonight. The man called Young Master Yen slowly put down the insect nucleus in his hand and spoke in a cold voice. Immediately call Tian Huanyu over. The blonde young woman thought that Diaxian would plead with the hotel for a few days. She did not expect that she would actually ask such a tough question. She froze for a moment before replying, Not yet. I won't. Dai Xan spoke, while in her heart, she was already looking forward to becoming a true cultivator. In just a few minutes, a youth with a medium build rushed in, walked up to the man, and bowed before speaking. "Elder brother Yen, were you looking for me?" "Huh, wait, rewind the video?" "Yes, right here's stop." Young Master Yen stared at Ning Ruolin's image in the projection and spoke up, "Is she Ning Ruolin?" Young Master Yan's expression changed a few times before he finally nodded and said, "All right, we'll wait for another night then." The crisp sound of the doorbell interrupted Dai Xian's words. Dai Xian and Ruolan looked at each other. Both of them knew that it should be the people from the hotel. However, after Ning Cheng recovered to the Essence Building realm, he knew that the further he went, the longer it would take for him to recover. Young Master Yen. Tian Huanyu didn't dare to call him Brother Yen anymore. If the person in front of him recovered, he could call him brother. He could even crack a few jokes with you. Once he got angry, the person who angered him could only wait to die. He also couldn't understand why Ning Ruolin and Dai Xian were still in such high spirits. In fact, they were even more spirited than when they had first moved in. Ning Cheng gave a smile and spoke, "Don't worry, I'll immediately go look for that Delandi. I'll let him return the money with interest." "Brother, you're finally out." Ning Ruolin happily looked at Ning Cheng, who had suddenly appeared in front of her. Even her voice was trembling with excitement. She was really afraid that her big brother would suddenly disappear again. "Tian Huanyu, 3 months ago, you told me that you had found the woman who insulted Nguyen. It was that Ning Ruolin. What did you do with that woman?" Young Master Yen asked in a calm voice. "What about your big brother?" Seeing Ning Cheng suddenly disappear, Dai Xan asked in a shocked voice. "Is it due now?" Dai Xan asked. Delandi was very tired, but he was in a very happy mood. This time, he, Shelley and Monk Ray Ching had gone to the desert together, and the harvest was not small. The three of them had joined forces to kill a commander-level 8-legged silver lightning insect, while he had obtained its insect nucleus. This insect nucleus was worth more than €1 billion. Moreover, it was not something that could be bought on the market. Yes. The woman standing on the side was already prepared, as a video projection soon appeared on the snow-white wall. "Since you don't have it, then please leave. Don't disturb our rest, otherwise I will file a complaint." After Dai Xan finished speaking, she slammed the door shut, blocking the young blonde woman who was trembling with anger outside. Tian Nguyen was sitting in her office, with some broken bank cards on the table in front of her. She was very familiar with this bank card, as it was her own. Tian Huanyu's forehead immediately oozed cold sweat, as he quickly spoke up in a respectful voice. "Elder brother Yen, Miss Nguyen knows Ning Ruolin. If this matter blows up, I'm afraid that it would reach Miss Nguyen's ears. Moreover, I'm sure that they would not have anything to eat in the Waitsi Ben Hotel, as they would not be able to afford it." Tian Huanyu was well aware of the nature of this young Master Yen in front of her. He was a complete lecher. Now that he saw Ning Ruolin so beautiful, he would definitely be tempted. She had to go and retrieve the bank card herself. Only after walking far away from the coffee shop did she calm down, as she knew that she had gone too far. She thought about it for a long time, before she finally forced herself to soften and return to the coffee shop. However, after returning, she did not see Ning Cheng, but only saw a pile of broken bank cards. "Young Master Yen, they can only stay in the Waitsi Ben Hotel for a day at most. As long as you wait for a day, I can bring them here tomorrow evening. The Waitsi Ben Hotel is Delandi's territory, although we are not afraid of him." Tian Huanyu carefully explained. "Ruolin, this blonde slut must have been sent by the person who wanted to blackmail us. Otherwise, it would be impossible for him to threaten us a day in advance. This woman must have come to see the situation." After Dai Xian closed the door, she spoke up with some indignation. "Blows up? Can't afford it?" Young Master Yen once again pounded the table. "Send me the video of the 2 women in the hotel. Let young Master Tian Huanyu open his eyes wide and see what kind of cooperation he has with the Waitsi Ben Hotel. Let's see how hungry these 2 women are. I know that he has already arrived. I'll go talk to this person first. You stay here with Grey Toot Toot, wait for me to come back, then we can go out together." Ning Cheng did not know Delandi, but he knew that Delandy had already entered the hotel. With his spiritual consciousness, if a powerhouse entered this place, then he would immediately be able to see that even if this person was not Delandy, he was definitely not a simple person. "I'll go open the door." Daexan opened the door and saw a blonde woman in her 30s standing outside the door. At this time, in the most luxurious room of the hotel, a man wearing silk pajamas was sitting on the sofa, studying an insect nucleus in his hands. This man had a handsome appearance, but his eyes were slightly indifferent, while his complexion was slightly pale. Why hasn't my big brother come out yet? After 2 days, Ning Ruolin felt somewhat anxious. Although her big brother had said that it was normal to go into seclusion for many years in the true cultivation world, but she had never seen him before. After all, this kind of thing was just too outrageous. Not seeing Ning Cheng, Ning Ruolin would always feel flustered in her heart. Ning Ruolin did not know where her big brother had gone. She thought for a moment before speaking up. "I guess that he entered the storage space that my big brother had mentioned. Little Exon, you must not speak of this matter." For 3 years, he did not show his face, but just as he saw her, he unexpectedly turned around and left, not even willing to speak a single word. He even wanted her to call him back. Was she, Tian Muan, really that unbearable? She also had her own pride. In just 2 days inside the miniature world, Ning Cheng's cultivation had already recovered to the essence building first level. He did not know how powerful the experts in this place were, so he decided to go and take a look first. If he had recovered to the 4th level of the soul sculpting realm, at this time, he would have directly gone out. Even if he had to destroy the 100 Bay point, he would not even frown. It was also because he had obtained some benefits from Shelley and Monk Ray Ching that Delandy invited the two of them to his hotel and was ready to take out a bottle of the best quality red wine that he had collected. This blonde woman glanced at Ning Ruolin and Daexan, and her eyes flashed with a trace of surprise. She had thought that the two of them were trapped in this place without any food to eat, and would definitely be thin and weak. She did not expect that Ning Ruolin and Daexan would not only not be thin and weak, but their skin would also turn even whiter. Especially Daexan, who could eat a lot, even had some baby fat on her. The Foreign Domain Hotel was also one of the most famous hotels in the 100 Bay Point. In addition to the 5 top hotels, the most famous hotel was the Foreign Domain Hotel. This hotel was under the banner of the Tian clan group and was classified as a super 5-star hotel. The blonde woman recovered and spoke with a smile. "Two respected guests, your prepaid room fee will expire tomorrow. If you cannot renew it, then our hotel will have to take back the room." This young woman glanced at Grey Toot Toot sleeping on the sofa in amazement. She also wondered why a puppy would appear here. "Actually, this wine is very ordinary." A sudden voice appeared in the room, causing the 3 people in the room to immediately stand up. Tian Huanyu quickly spoke up. "Elder brother Yen, you can rest assured. Although she is currently staying in the Weicheben Hotel, but I estimate that she is almost starving to death." "Dying?" Young Master Yen suddenly slapped the glass table next to him and spoke with a sneer. "Tian Huanyu, is she going to die? How come I heard that she is still alive and kicking? You can't even handle such a small matter. Do you live here because of wasting food?" No one could describe her mood at this time. The tearing and pain that she felt when she first saw Ning Cheng seemed to be repeating itself in her body. "Ha, I have long coveted this bottle of wine from Little Dew, and today I can finally drink it." A blue-robed monk looked at Delandy, who was holding onto the bottle, and laughed. After the woman replied, she quickly retreated out of the room. With his character, if she gave him the bank card, it would be equivalent to insulting him. But at that time, when she saw his appearance, that kind of destitute bastard appearance, she felt an inexplicable anger in her heart. Seeing Daexan standing in front of the door ridiculing the blonde woman, Tian Huanyu immediately broke out in cold sweat. He was well aware of how terrifying this young Master Yen in front of him was. If he wanted to pinch him to death, it would be as easy as pinching an ant. That's right, regardless of whether she was a true cultivator or not, it was impossible for the two of them to be together. But she did not want to see him with such a proud appearance. The person in her heart was not like this, certainly not like this. Chapter 373. What's more, of the world's 5 major experts, 3 of them were present in this room. 2 bloodstains splashed out, as Delandy quickly spoke up in panic. "Senior, please consider Shelley's hard work in killing those insects and spare his life." "That's right, I am indeed a Chinese." Ning Cheng nodded. Ning Cheng then slowly walked to the place where Delandy was sitting and sat down. Opening the bottle of wine that Delandy had taken out, he took a sip before shaking his head and spoke. "It really is trash." Ning Cheng raised his hand, and 2 bullets shot out, directly passing through Shelley's arm. Shelley, who was still in a daze, immediately loosened her hand, allowing the pistol to automatically fly into Ning Cheng's hands. One had to say that Delandy's Chinese was very good. Not only did he speak quickly, but he also did not have even half a pause. Ning Cheng took out a bottle of spiritual enhancement true nectar and handed it to Delandy before speaking. "All right, I will not take advantage of you. This pot of wine is more than enough to buy 10,000 of your hotel." "For you? How did you get in?" Delandy was the first to react as he stared at Ning Cheng and asked. Not to mention the layers of protection and monitoring in his room, even with his strength, no one would be able to enter his room. When they saw Ning Cheng even holding the bullets in his hands, the Delandy trio were completely stunned. "Yes, Senior Ning. I just came to know that the Chung Rulan Company is under the name of Senior Ning's younger sister. 3 days later, the 100 Bay Point will be holding a large-scale material order exchange. On behalf of the 100 Bay Point, I would like to invite the Chung Rulan Company to participate. I don't know if Senior Ning." Delandy said yes, but still addressed him as Senior Ning. These fellows relied on killing insects to rise, so how could there be any hard work? At best, they were just rich. If they killed all the insects, then it would still be a bit of hard work. But in fact, with their ability, wanting to kill all the insects was simply wishful thinking. He did not kill Shelley, because Shelley's 5 consecutive shots had avoided his vital points, 2 on his arms and 3 on his legs. Otherwise, even if there were 10 Shelleys, Ning Cheng would have killed them. Hard work to kill insects? It was simply a joke to him. "Just this once. If you dare to use a knife or a gun in front of me next time, I will not have such patience." Ning Cheng spoke in a calm voice. Both of Shelley's arms were hit by the bullets. His face was pale and cold sweat dripped down. He looked at Ning Cheng in fear. His heart was already trembling with regret. He had never seen such a terrifying expert like Ning Cheng. However, they did not have spiritual consciousness, and could only be said to be the most ordinary true condensation cultivators. Even if Ning Cheng did not recover to the essence-building realm, these 3 people together would not be his opponent, not to mention that he had already recovered to the essence-building realm. Moreover, his essence-building realm was different from ordinary essence-building realm cultivators. When he was in the early stages of the essence-building realm, he had already killed a profound congealing cultivator. In a place like the Earth where the spiritual chi was scarce, even if one had an insect nucleus, being able to cultivate to the late stages of the true condensation realm was not a simple feat. From this, it could be seen that the aptitudes of these 3 people were all first-rate. After a period of time, the 3 of them might even improve. Delandy came back quickly, and in just a few minutes, he once again returned to the room. Ning Cheng did not move from his spot. Under the stimulation of his true essence, he lifted his foot and casually swept it, without even releasing his imposing aura. With Delandy's status, it was certainly impossible for him to participate in such a low-level matter. If it was Delandy who did it, then Ning Cheng would not have spoken so nicely. He would have definitely raised the entire Dimensional Ben Hotel to the ground. Shelley and Monk Ray Ching, the 2 of them, had teamed up countless times, so after understanding the situation, they glanced at each other, before simultaneously reaching out to grab Ning Cheng. But at the same time, Delandy also made his move. But it was too late, as Shelley had already taken out her pistol and fired several shots at Ning Cheng. Thump, thump. With just a single kick, the 3 people were kicked to the point that they looked like a human pyramid, as they landed on top of each other at the foot of the wall. Delandy was just an ordinary martial artist who had never cultivated before. As such, he certainly did not know what imposing aura was, and what killing power was. With Ning Qing using this kind of imposing aura to suppress him, it would be a strange thing if he could remain calm. Monk Ruiqing wiped the cold sweat from his forehead and took a few steps forward, before he cupped his fists towards Ning Qing and spoke. "Senior, are you also a Chinese?" Delandy had asked Shelley not to shoot. It was because he wanted Shelley to threaten Ning Qing with her pistol and then clarify the issue. After all, in this era, it was a good thing to have an expert like Ning Qing. However, he had never thought that Ning Qing would not fear the bullets from Shelley's magnetic source pistol. Which bastard did this? At this moment, Delandy could not wait to swallow the bastard who imprisoned Ning Qing's sister. If someone were to see this scene, then they would definitely be shocked to the point that their jaws would drop. Delandy, Shelley, and Monk Ruiqing, these three people were the top 5 experts in the world. Usually, no matter where they went, only others would bow and salute them, so why would they return the favor and salute others? Ning Qing gave an sound, and spoke after a little consideration. "You can deal with the hotel's manager yourself. Although this time it was because of your hotel's people colluding with others, but I still want to thank you. If not for your hotel, my sister might have lost her life. Let's sit down and talk. The two of you should also sit down." Ning Qing waved his hand. "You don't have to call me senior from now on. My name is Ning Qing." They could also dodge bullets, but those were just ordinary bullets and they could only dodge them. However, Shelley's pistol was a new type of magnetic source pistol, with a bullet speed close to 20 times the speed of sound. He could even dodge this kind of bullet? No, it was catching it. Who else in this world could be his opponent? Even if the world's top 5 experts joined forces, they would not be able to withstand a single slap from him. "Many thanks, senior." Delandy stood up in surprise, and received the pot of wine from Ning Qing with both hands. Even if Ning Qing casually gave him a bottle of water, he would still be overjoyed. "Yes, many thanks, senior." The three people, on hearing Ning Qing ask them to sit down, quickly bowed and thanked him, even showing some excitement. What did it mean to have a good relationship with an expert like Ning Qing? Shelley and Monk Ruiqing were still wondering what was going on. After all, this room belonged to Delandy, and as for who was in Delandy's room, they did not dare to ask. Now that Delandy's words came out, the two of them finally understood that this person had actually sneaked in. When Ning Qing saw these three people take action, he already had an idea of the strength of the 5 experts. Monk Ruiqing and Delandy were equivalent to late-stage true condensation realm, while Shelley was equivalent to middle-stage true condensation realm. Ning Qing stood up and spoke. "All right, 3 days later, I will go and have a look." Even in the face of a commander-level demonic insect, Delandy would not feel any fear. However, standing in front of Ning Qing, that kind of invisible pressure made him feel uneasy in his heart. Ning Qing's hand flashed, and the magnetic source pistol in his hand disappeared. Then he squeezed his hand, and the few remaining bullets turned into metal powder and scattered on the ground. After saying those words, Ning Qing suddenly wanted to laugh. He remembered that when elder brother Tsang Wei drank his spiritual enhancement true nectar wine, it seemed that he had also said the same thing. Sure enough, once people reached a certain level, their vision would definitely change. Later, after drinking this wine, Delandy finally understood the meaning behind Ning Qing's words. Not to mention 10,000 dimensional Ben hotels, even if it was 100,000, he would not be willing to exchange it. Even his good friends Monk Ruiqing and Shelley were able to benefit from it. The speed of these three people was extremely fast, and almost at the same time, their hands had already appeared in front of Ning Qing. If it was a laser wall, then Ning Qing would still have some fear. After all, he had not fully recovered his strength, and the strength of his corporeal body was also somewhat affected. A thing like a laser wall, who knows if it would harm him or not? Before reaching the profound core realm, he did not want to try using a laser wall. However, why would he care about these trivial bullets? Ning Qing gave a sneer, as he raised his hand and grabbed all the bullets in it. Even if he did not undergo body forging, he would not fear these bullets. Not to mention that he was now a body forging cultivator, even if these bullets hit his body, so what? Senior, this junior intends to give the Dimensional Ben Hotel in the 100 Bay Point to Senior's younger sister as compensation. Delandy felt that Ning Qing was not a ferocious person. After sitting down, his tone turned a lot more natural. Ning Cheng knocked on the table. My younger sister is under house arrest in your hotel. I came here today to ask her about it. You can go ask her, my time is limited. After Ning Cheng finished, he took out a bottle of spiritual enhancement true nectar and took a sip. Senior, this junior really did not think that such a thing would happen. I have already taken down the manager of the extraterrestrial insect nucleus merchant house. Please punish me. This junior really did not know that such a thing happened to my dimensional Ben Hotel. This junior is willing to bear all the responsibility. Delandy came back and respectfully spoke in front of Ning Cheng. Don't. Delandy suddenly called out. At this moment, Delandy quickly helped Shelley deal with her injuries. Together with Shelley, he walked towards Ning Cheng and bowed with cupped fists. An indescribable wine fragrance wafted out. Not to mention Monk Rui Ching and Shelley standing there, even Delandy, who came out of the room, could not help but swallow a mouthful of saliva. No wonder this incomparably powerful senior said that the wine in his collection was trash. In front of this kind of wine, his wine might not even be as good as trash. Just by smelling this wine fragrance, he could feel that his strength had increased a lot. Delandy stood up and escorted Ning Cheng to the door of the room before retreating. Yes, yes. Delandy quickly bowed in response, before quickly taking out the medicinal powder to help Shelley apply it. They had been killing insects outside all year round, so not only did they carry this kind of medicinal powder with them, it also had a good effect. Senior, I'll go and find out about the situation. Delandy's cold sweat dripped onto the floor, but he did not dare to wipe it off. Hearing Ning Cheng's words, cold sweat immediately flowed down Delandy's forehead. Although this incomparably powerful senior seemed to be very reasonable, it did not mean that his younger sister, who was imprisoned in his hotel, was also very reasonable. Senior has graced my dimensional Ben Hotel, yet Delandy did not go out to welcome you. It really is a bit embarrassing. Delandy could see that Ning Cheng was not an unreasonable person, as such he lowered his posture even more. Chapter 374. Prepare the Spirit Stone Cannons. Indiscriminate Life Fluctuations, Level 1 Attack. Along with Sifting Orchid's voice, the surroundings of the Rank 5 battle disc immediately erupted with a dense rain-like red light. The Rank 5 battle disc gave out intermittent buzzing sounds, as a variety of data appeared on the huge display screen in front of Ning Cheng. In the middle of the data, there was a circular distribution map with dense green dots. Ning Cheng, who was sitting inside the battle disc, quickly discovered that the insects on the ground under the influence of this red line would die in an instant, without any ability to resist at all. Ning Cheng gave a smile. What they said is right. I have already exchanged this hotel for something else, and now it indeed belongs to the Chung Ruolin Company. You and Dai Exine go handle the property handover procedures. I have to go out in a while. Dai Exine also looked at Ning Cheng in a daze. Buying the dimensional Ben Hotel at the 100 Bay Point, how much would it cost? Later on, Ning Cheng simply did not care about the low-leveled insect nuclei and directly went to collect the high-level insect nuclei. Half a day later, Ning Cheng felt that this method was not necessarily the most profitable. He did not expect that Delandy would be able to handle things so quickly. He must have definitely transferred the hotel to his younger sister the first time he inquired about the situation. As for catching the insect queen, Ning Cheng did not have any plans to do so yet. After capturing the insect queen, he would leave Earth. In that case, he would have to wait until his strength was completely restored before he could go over. Young Master Yen, you can't blame me for this. 2 days ago, Delandy from the Dimensional Ben Hotel suddenly came back. Shelley and Monk Rui Ching also came back with him. Now that they are staying in the hotel, even if I have 10,000 guts, I wouldn't dare to ask. Tian Huanyu quickly explained respectfully. Gray Toot Toot, when I'm not around, if anyone dares to harm Ruolin or Diexin, just kill them directly. Do not be polite. Ning Cheng patted Gray Toot Toot in Ning Ruolin's arms and spoke. Where are you going? Ning Ruolin asked in panic. It didn't matter to her whether she needed a hotel or not. What was important was where her brother was going. Taking the identity card, Ning Cheng saw the words 100 Bay Point Special Class VIP written on the identity card, followed by a series of honorary titles. Really, Ruolan, can we also go to the 100 Bay Points material order gathering? Daexian called out in surprise. She had not been in contact with insect materials for a long time. However, she was much more interested in insect materials compared to Ning Ruolan. Ning Ruolan had set up the insect materials company just to make money. However, she was really interested in it. Otherwise, he wouldn't have gone to the insect nucleus merchant house to look at the insect nuclei. Ning Cheng's level of crafting artifacts could be said to be very poor, but fortunately he was an array formation grandmaster. He could engrave an array formation on a magic tool, forcibly raising the magic tool to a higher level. Once that happened, it would be disastrous for the entire Earth. Shield. Ning Cheng said without hesitation. He was going to kill those insects, and was not willing to talk to others. Seeing Delandi retreating, Ning Ruolan carefully asked, "Big brother, is that person Delandi? It looks like him to me." Ning Cheng showed a faint smile. Not eligible to participate? That was in the past. This time, I'm going out to look for some materials to bring back as our Cheng Ruolan company's competitive products. The number of insects killed by the rank 5 battle disc was simply too many. Even if Ning Cheng continued to collect them, he would not be able to collect them all. Not to mention collecting other materials, just the insect nuclei alone were enough to keep him busy for a few days. Among the insect nuclei were certainly the most valuable. However, this was only on the surface. The reason why those materials were not as valuable as the insect nuclei was because they had not been processed. Once the insect nuclei were completely absorbed, if he refined the insect materials into an artifact, then perhaps it would be even more valuable than the insect nuclei. Gray Toot Toot called out a few times in dissatisfaction, meaning to say, "Do I look like the kind of person who would be polite to you?" The insect species in this place were not limited to the sharp-mouthed yellow mottled insects. Ning Cheng had already seen dozens of them. Some of these insects were fighting each other, while others were hiding in the corners and lurking. Ning Cheng had just arrived at the door of Ruolan and Daexian's room when he saw Ruolan and Daexian standing outside the door with a look of disbelief. A tall woman was standing beside her younger sister while holding some documents. "It's him." 3 days later, the 100 Bay Point is going to have a large-scale material order exchange, and all the participants are the world's first-class companies. You can prepare the materials. We will also be participating in it 3 days later. Ning Cheng had seen a lot of crucible transformation experts. As such, he really did not care about a martial artist like Delandi. Although Daexian had heard of Delandi countless times, but she had never seen him before, so she did not feel surprised. However, Ning Ruolan had only seen Delandi once, one of the 5 major experts in the world. Such an expert actually called her elder brother senior. Leaving the 100 Bay Point, Ning Cheng directly took out the rank 5 battle disc. After sending out the order to go to the insect's territory, the rank 5 battle disc brought out a black line as it instantly rushed into the sky. The swarm of insects was so dense that even people with trypophobia might not be able to stand it. This was still far away from the insect queen. Once it got close to the insect queen, how terrifying would it be? Scanning signal detected. It belongs to a low-level radar. Do you want to interfere with the shielding? Sifting Orchid's crisp voice came from the rank 5 battle disc. Because of the fast speed of crafting artifacts, Ning Cheng was too lazy to collect the materials to go back and refine them. This way, he could save time and avoid having to touch the materials again. However, Ning Cheng did not care about these things. With the identity card, it would not be that troublesome to get in and out of this place. At least he would not need to be invisible every time. At this time, the number of green dots on the screen rapidly decreased, and the number of red dots increased rapidly. Ning Cheng then came to understand. Originally, these dots represented insects. The green dots indicated that the insects were still alive and had signs of life fluctuations, while the red dots indicated that they had already been killed. In just a few minutes, Ning Cheng saw an endless swarm of insects from the rank 5 battle disc. This place was an abandoned city. He had not guessed wrong. Many of the insects in this place were close to the strength of Class 1 monstrous beasts. He even saw a few big fellows that were close to the strength of Class 2 monstrous beasts. Ning Cheng entered the swarm of insects that had already been shot to death and began to collect the insect nuclei. With his essence-building realm cultivation, coupled with a spiritual artifact long blade, collecting these insect nuclei was a simple task. As long as he raised his hand, several insect nuclei would immediately be dug out by his long blade and fall into his ring. The identity card that Delandy had sent over was indeed useful. Not to mention checking the several checkpoints of the 100 Bay Point. When the security guards saw Ning Cheng's identity card, they all bowed in respect. Ning Ruolin quickly spoke up, "Elder brother, this is the world's largest exchange of orders. We are not qualified to go. The ones going are some of the top companies as well as some of the top forces. What's more, we do not have the funds, nor do we have the materials. Sifting Orchid, use the spirit stone cannons to attack. As long as we can kill these insects, it would be fine. Do not turn them into gas." Ning Cheng immediately issued the order to attack. "Then I really have to thank you." Ning Cheng was just about to go out when the identity card arrived just in time. Ning Cheng stood up and spoke, "Sifting Orchid, I'm going to go down and collect the materials from the insects. You will follow behind me wherever I go. You will follow. At the same time, shoot all the insects in the vicinity, do not leave a single one alive." Ning Cheng simply found a place to sit down and began to craft artifacts using the insect materials. His artifact crafting speed was very fast. After taking out the insect materials, he casually refined the materials into a weapon that was not even a low-grade magical artifact. Ning Cheng then engraved an array formation on it, allowing this magical artifact to rise to the level of a low-grade magical artifact. After a day, Ning Cheng was able to craft a low-grade magical artifact. As for the low-grade magical artifact, after he engraved an array formation, it immediately turned into a middle-grade magical artifact. "Elder brother, this is the person in charge of the Waitzi Ben Hotel. She said that you have already bought this hotel and that it is now one of Ching Ruolin's properties. Seeing Ning Cheng come over, Ning Ruolin spoke up in disbelief. Although he did not use the rank 5 battle disc and could easily deal with these insects, but Ning Cheng was too lazy to fight with these low-leveled insects. Using the rank 5 battle disc to kill insects on a large scale, this was the simplest and fastest way. "Senior Ning, this is the 100 Bay Point identity card that I specially went to help you with." Delandy hurriedly ran over, holding a golden card in both hands before handing it to Ning Cheng. Seeing Ning Cheng put away the identity card, Delandy spoke up in a very happy manner, "Then this junior will not bother senior. This hotel has a few special rooms, senior can stay in them." Insect nuclei contained a kind of essence chi, which was not only useful for martial artists, but also useful for true cultivators. For martial artists, essence chi was much more direct and easy to absorb compared to spiritual chi. Therefore, for true cultivators, spirit stones were much more precious than insect nuclei. However, for martial artists, insect nuclei that contained heaven and earth essence chi were the most precious. If not for his little sister Ruolin's company, Ning Cheng would not have bothered to participate in this kind of exchange. He wanted to take his little sister away with him. Now that he had developed the Chung Ruolin Company, and even wanted the Weichibin Hotel, it was all for the sake of Dai Xen. Dai Xen was willing to take out all of her savings, and even came to accompany Ruolin. In any case, he could not let Dai Xen suffer any grievances. Before leaving, he decided to gift Dai Xen the world's #1 materials company. As the rank 5 battle disc descended, the insects in the vicinity immediately discovered it, causing them to rush over. Some of the insects with simple wings were able to fly high enough to almost touch the rank 5 battle disc. Although the low-leveled insects had almost no intelligence, but even if they did not have any intelligence, they still had a certain inertia. It was just like how the insects knew that they could not approach the laser wall, as they would immediately turn into ashes if they approached it. After the rank 5 battle disc slaughtered for half a day, these insects also knew that this dilapidated city was not a place to stay for long, causing some of the insects to flee. What shocked Ning Cheng even more was that he unexpectedly found some insects with simple wings. One could imagine that if these insects were allowed to evolve for a period of time, then these winged insects would be able to easily bypass the laser wall and attack the city. Tian Huanyu, now that 2 days have passed, where are the people you brought? Inside the luxurious room of the extraterritorial hotel, young Master Yen stared at Tian Huanyu in front of him with eyes full of anger. If not for this fellow helping him with some things, he would have already dragged him out and smashed his mouth. Chapter 375. Weicheben Hotel? No, it should be called Qingrulan Hotel now. Because the handover procedures had already been completed, even if Delandy wanted to stay here, he would have to pay for the room. Delandy, who would have left after staying for a night, had not left. He carefully stood in front of Ning Rulan and explained, "Little Miss Ning, the one who plotted against you was Tian Huanyu of the Tian clan. Tian Huanyu received instructions from Tian Yen to take you away, so he deliberately set up a trap in the outer domain insect nucleus merchant house to harm you. If you want to cancel the insect nucleus merchant house and bring Tian Huanyu here, I can help you do it right away." Ning Rulan had already guessed that it was the work of the Tian family. However, she did not know that it was Tian Yen who did it. Ning Rulan had heard of this Tian Yen before. He was the next in line to take charge of the Tian family. "Let's wait for my big brother to come back. My big brother will help me with this." Ning Rulan did not have the mind to care about these things. If her big brother did not come back, then she would not have any confidence in her heart. "Then I'll take my leave first. If Miss Ning and Miss Dai have anything to say, then you can immediately inform me." Delandy spoke as he carefully withdrew from the room. "Rulan, who is Tian Yen?" After Dai Xen saw Delandy leave, she asked in a low voice. She was in a good mood. Now that she was the chief financial officer of the Qingrulan Materials Company, she knew that the net profit of the hotel exceeded a few million in a single day. "He is a very powerful person in the Tian family. I heard that he is a lecherous person. Moreover, he is very cruel and merciless. He does not have a good reputation." Ning Rulan replied. The reason why she knew so clearly was because she had spent a lot of effort to investigate the Tian family. She knew more about the Tian family than anyone else. Saying that, Ning Rulan gave out a sigh. "I don't know when my big brother will come back." Ning Cheng's voice sounded out. "Rulan, you don't have to worry, I'm back." "Big brother." Ning Rulan immediately became pleasantly surprised. With her big brother back, everything else was secondary. Ning Cheng looked at the luxurious interior of the new room before he smiled and spoke. "It looks like it's better to have one's own hotel. This room is not even comparable to a presidential suite. Of course, this hotel's daily profit is a few million. Moreover, there are more and more people staying in these few days. I think the daily profit of our hotel will soon exceed 10 million renminbi." Dai Xian said happily. Ning Cheng knew that even if the hotel made a profit of 10 million a day, for people like Delandy, it was just a small amount of money. They had opened a hotel here for the sole purpose of settling down. "Oh, that's right, elder brother Xiaocheng. Delandy came over a moment ago and said that he knew who harmed us." Dai Xen chirped and quickly spoke out everything that Delandy had said a moment ago. Seeing Ning Cheng's complexion turning ugly, Dai Xen quickly spoke up. "Elder brother Xiaocheng, that Delandy said that he can purchase the entire foreign domain hotel and the merchant house for us." Ning Cheng calmed himself down and spoke. "I don't need him to buy these 2 places. Tomorrow we will go to the Global Material Order Exchange. You and Rulan will be in charge. As for the extraterritorial hotel, I'll raise it to the ground after the auction. We only need 1 hotel, not 2. That foreign realm merchant house will become our merchant house as compensation." Ning Cheng did not mention Tian Yen and Tian Huanyu. These 2 people were about to die, so why would he mention them? "Big brother, for tomorrow's trade exchange meet, you will be the one in charge. Me and little Xen will help you out." Ning Rulan, on hearing her big brother say that he wanted her to take charge, quickly spoke up. Ning Cheng hesitated for a moment. He had originally planned to disguise himself and go together with Rulan. It was not that he was afraid of anything else, but that he did not want to face Tian Muan again. Tian Muan was an important figure in the Tian clan. As such, this kind of large-scale trade meet was very likely for her to attend. However, Ning Cheng quickly put this matter aside. Whether Tian Nguyen went or not, he already had to face this matter. If he was afraid of meeting Tian Nguyen, then it showed that he had not completely turned over this matter in his heart. No, you and Dixn will be the ones in charge, I'll help you out. Ning Cheng decided to go with this plan. As for disguising himself, there was no longer a need for it. And that's good. Because of this hotel joining us, we can also pool together a few tens of millions. Ning Ruolin agreed with her big brother's statement. No need to buy things, we are going to sell things. Ning Cheng quickly spoke up. Although a few tens of millions might seem like a lot, but in fact, in this kind of large-scale exchange meet, it was not even a fraction of what the other people wanted. Dixn asked, Elder brother Xiaocheng, what are we going to sell? 10 insect nuclei, and these 10 weapons. Ning Cheng spoke as he took out 10 insect nuclei that were close to rank 2, while also taking out 10 weapons. In fact, there were 10 artifacts, 5 low-grade artifacts, 4 medium-grade artifacts, and 1 high-grade artifact. These high-grade artifacts were not refined from insect materials, but rather were found in Ning Cheng's ring. Elder brother, these are commander-level insect nuclei. Ning Ruolin had handled countless materials. As such, when she picked up an insect nucleus, she immediately cried out in shock. Ning Cheng knew that the insect nuclei that he had taken out were all dug out from a rank 2 demon insect. That is to say, this was a peak rank 1 demon nucleus. How did it turn into a commander level? What is a commander level insect nucleus? Ning Cheng asked. Ning Ruolin was pleasantly surprised as she grabbed the insect nucleus and spoke. Elder brother, we are rich, this insect nucleus is worth tens of billions of Chinese currency, there is no market for it. Ning Ruolin had handled countless materials, as such she was aware of the preciousness of a commander-level insect nucleus. The highest grade commander-level demon insect was incomparably powerful. Even if it was a battle commander of the same rank, they might not necessarily be its opponent, because the defensive capabilities of these insects were just too powerful. Once they encountered an 8-legged silver lightning insect that excelled in speed, perhaps only the 5 major experts would be able to kill it. Because even if this insect was a commander-level insect, its speed and strength far exceeded that of a commander-level insect nucleus, which was classified as a quasi-domain grade insect nucleus. Now that her elder brother had obtained a commander-level insect nucleus, how could he not be rich? No, that's not right. Ning Ruolin immediately saw that the rest of the insect nuclei that her elder brother had taken out were of almost the same rank. 10 commander-level insect nuclei? Ning Ruolin felt that her brain was not enough to process it. After a good while, she finally reacted and explained with excitement, Elder brother, after the emergence of the insects, the world divided the ranks of the martial artists according to their merits and strength: warrior, battle colonel, battle general, and battle commander. Each rank is further divided into 5 stars. The insect nuclei of the insects are also divided into several corresponding ranks according to the rank. The value of a commander-level insect nucleus is very high. So that's the case. It looks like Delandi should be a battle commander. Ning Cheng nodded and spoke. Ning Ruolin explained, Elder brother, Delandi is not a battle commander. The strength of the 5 major experts surpasses that of a battle commander. He belongs to the rank above a battle commander. Because there is no such division, it is directly referred to as one of the 5 major experts. Is the insect nucleus above the commander level not classified? Ning Cheng asked. With his strength, he did not fear the number of insects. Before he came back, he had deliberately chased down a Class 2 demon insect, killed it, and dug out its insect nucleus. Ning Ruolin shook her head and spoke. No, the demon insects above the commander level are classified as domain level. The Tian clan's insect nuclei from the outer domain, domain insect materials, and the outer domain hotel all came from this name. Even if one were to encounter a domain-level insect, they would not be able to catch it. Unless the 5 major experts join forces, then the value of an insect nucleus is estimated to be more than 100 billion. I really managed to get my hands on one. Ning Cheng spoke as he took out a Class 2 insect nucleus and placed it in Ning Ruolin's hands. This really is a domain-level insect nucleus. Ning Ruolin stared at the insect nucleus in her hands in shock. She had never seen a Class 2 insect nucleus before, but she had seen a peak commander-level insect nucleus. That aura was far less shocking. Seeing Ning Ruolin's shocked look, Gray Toot Toot felt bored and jumped onto the sofa to sleep. It was just an ordinary Class 2 demon nucleus. What was there to make such a fuss about? You forgot that this elder brother is a true cultivator. Ning Chung spoke with a smile. Ning Ruolin and Dai Xian's eyes immediately lit up. That's right, even Gray Toot Toot was so skilled. What could their elder brother, killing a domain-level demon insect, count for? Let's not buy this insect nucleus. Let's take it to the exchange meet for exhibition. Later on, we can use it as the Chung Ruolin Company's treasure. Ning Chung pointed to the demon nucleus in Ning Ruolin's hands and spoke. Elder brother Xiaoqing, what about these weapons? Dai Xen finally found an opportunity to speak and pointed to the pile of weapons. Ning Chung thought for a moment and spoke. The cheapest of these weapons is 1 billion euros, while the most expensive is 100 billion euros. What? Ning Ruolin and Dai Xen were completely stunned. The 100 Bay Point was a popular place, as 90% of the world's insect materials, as well as more than 80% of the insect materials weapons, flowed out of the 100 Bay Point. Any insect materials company was inseparable from the 100 Bay Point. Moreover, in the past few days, the 100 Bay Point had become even more lively, with businessmen and powerhouses from all over the world coming to this place. The reason for this was that this place was about to host a global-scale materials exchange meet. In this exchange meet, one could sign a huge number of orders, while one could also spend countless money to buy something that one liked. Today was the first day of the 100 Bay Point Global Materials Order Exchange Meet. At the 100 Bay Point's largest trade building, the 100 Bay Point's public square, was already packed with people of all colors. The 100 Bay Point Trade Building had a total of 5 floors. Each floor was extremely spacious and provided countless booths. The Ning Chung trio had just arrived at the entrance of the 100 Bay Point Trade Building and had not even taken out their invitation cards, when a young woman waiting at the entrance greeted them. Excuse me, are the 3 of you from the Chung Ruolin Materials Company? Yes, we are from the Chung Ruolin Materials Company. Ning Ruolin quickly replied. The young woman immediately spoke up in a respectful manner. The 3 of you, please come to booth number 396 on the 2nd floor, which is a Tier 2 booth. Because the Tier 1 booth reserved by Sir Delandy is currently occupied by another Sir Delandy is currently negotiating with them. Ning Ching nodded and spoke. You can go and tell Sir Delandy that we will use booth number 396. We don't need the Tier 1 booth, as it would be troublesome to exchange for it. Chapter 376. The booth number 396 was not too bad. Although it was not the most conspicuous place on the 2nd floor, it was still in a relatively easy position to see. Ning Chung was not worried about this location. He knew that his things would not fail no matter which booth he placed them in. Although the fragrance of wine feared the depth of the alley, but if the fragrance of his wine reached a certain level, and the alley was not deep, then what else was there to worry about? Ning Ching had just finished setting up his booth when Delandy hurriedly ran over. Senior Ning, this time Homer snatched the booth that I had reserved. I'm currently negotiating with him. Delandy's face was a bit ashamed, but his eyes contained a hint of anger. Apparently, he was very dissatisfied with that Homer. Although in the 100 Bay Point he and Homer were among the 5 major experts, but his strength was still a bit worse compared to Homer. Ning Chung smiled. Delandy, you don't have to call me senior in this place. As for this booth, I can easily sell the things I have here. It's just 20 things. I believe that they would soon sell out. Delandy wanted to say that he would buy them all, but he was afraid that Ning Ching would think that he was looking down on him. Therefore, he changed his tone and spoke up. Senior, what does Ning Ching want to sell? Do you want me to help you advertise it in the big video feed? There is no need to advertise it. My things do not need to be advertised. Ning Chung spoke as he lifted the blue cloth covering the booth, revealing 10 crystal boxes containing insect nuclei, as well as 10 weapons without any decorations. In addition to that, there was also a crystal ball placed in the middle of the booth. The crystal ball also contained an insect nucleus. Delandy sluggishly looked at the insect nuclei in the transparent crystal box. After a good while, he spoke up in shock. These are all commander-level insect nuclei? No, this one is. Delandy stared at the insect nucleus in the transparent crystal ball for a good while before he cried out in shock. This is a domain-level insect nucleus, a genuine domain-level insect nucleus. Domain-level demon insects were as rare as the 5 major experts, which meant that they were existences on the same level as the 5 major experts. For him to be able to see this kind of top-notch insect nucleus in this kind of materials exchanged, it was simply a dream that he could not believe. When he was fighting with the demonic insects, he had also seen a domain-level demonic insect. With his ability, he could only save his own life. Wanting to kill a domain-level demonic insect and obtain its insect nucleus was simply a dream. However, thinking about Ning Cheng's terrifying abilities, Delandy's shocked heart gradually calmed down. With Senior Ning's formidable ability, it wasn't impossible for him to obtain a domain-level monster core. Delandy immediately thought back to his previous thoughts of buying all of Ning Cheng's things, causing his face to immediately turn hot. If someone had said before that there was something he couldn't afford, he would have taken it as a joke. But now he really couldn't afford it. Where is the domain rank insect nucleus? Delandy's words immediately attracted the attention of many onlookers. More and more people crowded in front of Ning Cheng's booth. Among them, there were a few people who were knowledgeable, and soon someone called out, "Commander-level insect nuclei, these are all commander-level insect nuclei, heavens, a total of 10? This crystal ball contains a domain-level insect nucleus. I can actually see a domain-level insect nucleus." Ning Cheng's booth was getting more crowded, with countless people trying to squeeze in. The few booths next to it simply could not display their own things. As such, they simply moved their booths to the side. That's an essence weapon. Finally, someone recognized Ning Cheng's magical artifact. This sentence was even more shocking than the previous one who called out the commander-level insect nuclei. Essence weapons were even rarer than commander-level insect nuclei. For a martial artist, an essence weapon was more precious than anything else. An essence weapon was a weapon that could fully display a martial artist's true chi. This kind of weapon was countless times more powerful than an ordinary weapon. Even if one encountered a powerful demon insect, as long as one had an essence weapon in hand, then one's strength would increase by a whole new level. Delandy's gaze had always been attracted by the domain-level insect nuclei, as such he had not even seen an essence weapon. Now that he heard someone mention it, he immediately discovered an essence weapon. His face turned even hotter. Essence weapons. So many essence weapons, how could he buy them all by himself? Fortunately, he did not say those words out loud. However, his heart immediately turned fiery. With so many essence weapons, if he could get his hands on one, essence weapons, commander-level insect nuclei, and even domain-level insect nuclei all appeared. At this moment, Ning Cheng's booth could no longer be described as crowded. Whether it was the first floor, the second floor, or even the third floor, all of them flocked to Ning Cheng's booth on the second floor. At the same time, the news of essence weapons and commander-level insect nuclei appearing in the 100 Bay Point spread throughout the entire world. At this moment, countless private planes flew towards the 100 Bay Point, as countless experts flocked to this place. In a luxurious restaurant on the 5th floor of the 100 Bay Point Trade Building, a fair-skinned man put down the knife and fork in his hands, before picking up a white towel from the tray in the hands of the maid beside him and wiping his hands. He was Homer, one of the 5 major experts. Unlike the others, he had to eat 5 meals a day, and each meal had to be extremely luxurious. For him, the most enjoyable thing was to eat delicious food. His strong taste buds allowed him to enjoy a variety of delicacies. Moreover, his formidable skills allowed him to taste all kinds of delicacies in the world. At this moment, a curly-haired man wearing a red robe hurriedly walked behind Homer, before bowing and speaking, "Sir, 10 commander-level insect nuclei appeared on the 2nd floor of the exchange meet." "What did you say?" Homer's hands trembled as he asked in shock. Sir, 10 commander-level insect nuclei, 10 essence weapons, and 1 domain-level insect nucleus appeared on the second floor of the exchange meet. When Homer heard this, he suddenly stood up. He did not even notice the chair behind him being pushed far away, or the red wine cup on the table being knocked over by him. The few maids serving on the side did not even dare to breathe loudly. This was the first time that they had seen Sir Homer lose his composure in such a manner. After a few seconds, Homer finally calmed down and stared at the curly-haired man in red robes and asked, "Are you sure that what you said is true?" "Sir, what I said is true. The booth is now packed with people, it's simply impossible to squeeze in. The video recording has already been retrieved." The curly-haired man quickly replied. Homer tried his best to stop his hands from trembling, but the huge excitement caused his hands to tremble. The huge display screen on the wall in front of him clearly showed the sea of people in front of Ning Cheng's booth. It's the Chung Ruolin Materials Company. It's an unknown small company that almost went bankrupt. Now that it has appeared here, it should be because of Sir Delandy's support. The curly-haired man quickly explained in a low voice from the side. He was well aware of his boss's temper and had already done his homework before coming here. In case the boss asked him a question and he could not answer it, then he would just have to wait for death. Homer did not need the curly-haired man to explain, as he had already seen Delandy on the side on the monitor screen. Why would Delandy want to help such a small thing? In Homer's view, the Chung Ruolin Materials Company was just a small thing. In his eyes, it was not even a small thing. The curly-haired man in red robes quickly spoke up. Cheng Ruolin's boss is called Ning Ruolin, a very beautiful woman. I suspect that Delandy is doing this because of this woman, so that's how it is. Homer also saw Ning Ruolin on the monitor screen. Ning Ruolin's beauty made him feel that what his subordinate had said was correct. After a full 10 seconds, Homer gave a sneer and spoke. Even if Delandy wants to support him, the good things would still have to be divided among everyone. Why would Delandy hog it all to himself? This bastard must have found a way to deal with the commander-level demon insects, otherwise it would be impossible for him to obtain so many good things. Homer had also fought against commander-level demon insects before. Although he was able to get rid of some of them that were not good at speed, but when it came to demon insects that excelled in speed, he certainly would not be able to get rid of them. Delandy's skills were far inferior to his, so for him to obtain so many demon insects, it meant that he must have found a way to deal with the commander-level demon insects. What's more, there was even a domain-level demon insect here. Moreover, there were so many essence weapons in this place. From this, it could be seen that Delandy must have found a way to deal with the demon insects, as well as the fact that these essence weapons all came from a historical site. Otherwise, with Delandy's strength, he would not have such a great ability. Thinking of this, Homer turned to the curly-haired man and spoke, "Call Quake over to find trouble with him. As long as you can muddle up this matter, I will come forward." After the curly-haired man replied, he quickly retreated. Not to mention the 100 Bay Point, even in the entire Europe, there was no one who did not know about Quake. Quake was Homer's illegitimate son, and was incomparably arrogant. Anyone who offended him would not be able to see the next day's sun. Because of Homer's backing, no one dared to do anything to Quake, not even a single word behind his back. There was a legend in the 100 Bay Point, that is, if you want to put your enemy to death, then the easiest way is to tell Quake that your enemy is cursing him. You don't need to worry about anything else, as Quake will automatically help you take care of everything. For Homer, his illegitimate son, Quake, certainly would not be able to do anything to Delandy. However, as long as Quake and Delandy were in a deadlock, then Homer would be able to come out and speak. Ladies and gentlemen, everyone must have seen these things. That's right, these are indeed 10 commander-level insect nuclei, 10 essence weapons. Because these things are limited, we are using a bidding method. As long as you can afford the price, the commander-level insect nuclei are yours, and the essence weapons are yours. If you are trying to stir up trouble, then you will lose the qualifications to buy them. Ning Cheng, seeing more and more people gathering, had to stand up and speak out loudly. After Ning Cheng's words came out, the crowd quickly calmed down. It turned out that the items were sold according to the price, and did not mean that the people at the front would be able to buy the essence weapons. Humph, this is the insect materials exchange meet, not a place for you to cause trouble. You are just a booth, so why would you dare to put up an auction here? Confiscate the things and take them away. A very arrogant voice sounded out from the already quiet crowd. Almost at the same time, the originally packed booth automatically parted to form a sidewalk. It's Quake. Someone carefully whispered out. Quake had come, and was also very dissatisfied with this booth. Whoever dared to speak out would definitely be out of luck. Chapter 377. Ning Cheng was also puzzled. Many of the people here had seen Delandy before. Now that Delandy was by his side, everyone who knew Delandy would respectfully salute Delandy. Even if his things were too heaven-defying, no one dared to squeeze past Delandy's side. Who was this fellow with Delandy here, yet he still dared to be so arrogant? Was he also one of the 5 major experts? Delandy quickly whispered in Ning Cheng's ear. This person is called Quake, the illegitimate son of Homer, one of the 5 major experts. Homer is ranked second among the 5 major experts, and I am far from being his opponent. Even in the 100 Bay Point, he suppressed me in every aspect. For Quake to come here, it should be Homer's idea. Homer must have thought that I was the one who brought your things here to sell, so he wants me to spit out some of them. I'm sure that as long as I stand up for him, Homer would definitely come out and negotiate with me. So that's how it is. Ning Cheng nodded. The 100 Bay Point was a place where dragons and snakes mixed together. Basically, it was a place where the 5 major experts and some forces from various countries intertwined. After the insect tide appeared on Earth, this place became a place where strength spoke. Senior Ning, you don't have to worry about it. Even if Homer is arrogant, he would not dare to snatch it. Me, Shelley and Monk Ray Ching are together, he would still feel some fear. Delandy, on seeing Ning Cheng nod, explained from the side. Of course I'm not worried. Ning Cheng casually spoke, before taking out the magnetic source pistol that he had obtained from Shelley, and raised his hand to shoot. Quake's clamorous expression instantly froze, as the powerful impact of the magnetic source pistol directly blew open his glabella. He did not even have time to twitch before he fell to the ground dead. This. Everyone stared at Quake, who had fallen to the ground, without anyone making a sound. Quake was killed in the 100 Bay Point? Moreover, it happened in front of everyone's eyes. This was a big pot. Even Delandy did not think that Ning Cheng would directly kill this fellow. Ning Cheng patted Delandy's shoulder and spoke, "You help me deal with this. I have something to do and will be back soon." Okay. Delandy hurriedly replied. He did not know how to deal with it. If Homer came, he would have no way to deal with him. Right, quickly call Shelley and Rui Qing over. With the 3 of them together, Homer was really afraid. By the time Delandy called out to him, Ning Cheng had already disappeared. Ning Ruolin and Diexen looked at everything in front of them with pale faces, not knowing what to do. "I'm going to cook you." Homer threw the glass of wine in his hand at the huge surveillance screen. He did not expect that the script would not play out according to his plan. Where did this daring bodyguard come from? He actually dared to kill Homer's son. Even if Delandy goes bankrupt, I will still skin you alive. Homer's eyes no longer had the calmness from before. He rushed to the table and opened the drawer. He took out a jet black pistol and a slender cleaver. "Do you think I need someone to protect me?" The sudden voice from inside the room caused Homer's hand to pause. He slowly turned around, only to see the person who had killed his son Quake a few seconds ago standing in front of him. Phew. Homer took a few steps back in horror. The hatred he felt instantly cooled down, and the madness in his eyes also gradually disappeared. He found that his first impression was the strongest. Could there only be 5 major experts in the world? Could there not be a 6th major expert? Could Delandy be the only one who obtained those commander-level insect nuclei? Could it not be someone else? However, this young man in front of him was just too young and frightening. Not to mention him, no one would regard him as an expert. The world's 5 major experts did not appear after the emergence of the insect tide. Take Homer for example, he had decades of martial cultivation as a foundation. Coupled with the insect nuclei from the insect tide, it allowed him to leap to the top in a short period of time. Not only Homer, but the rest of the major experts, which one of them did not have the same experience. How could one become an expert without a solid foundation? Even if this young man started cultivating in his mother's womb, it would only be 20 to 30 years. How was this possible? Your Excellency, I have no enmity with you, so why do you want to bully me? I, Homer, have killed countless demon insects, so I will not be bullied by others. Homer's Chinese was far inferior to Delandy's, but Ning Cheng could barely understand it. Ning Cheng sneered, trying to bully you? Quake is your bastard, isn't he? Presumably, he must have snatched a lot of good things from the 100 Bay Point over the years. Go to hell. Homer raised his pistol at his fastest speed and shot out 6 bullets in succession, while simultaneously chopping out with the long and narrow knife in his hands. Facing someone like Ning Cheng who had silently entered his room, he did not dare to show even half a shred of carelessness. Regardless of whether the bullets killed Ning Cheng or not, his long knife would still chop out. Other than the premier expert Xing Liang, no one else could easily avoid his long knife. Because he could change the direction of his knife in the blink of an eye, no matter how fast the opponent's reaction was, it would not be as fast as his knife. It was also because of this that he had a nickname, Lightning Knife Homer. As the long knife chopped through the air, Homer felt very satisfied with his actions. His skills were growing every day. However, he immediately felt that something was wrong. In his opinion, Ning Cheng would have to move a little to avoid the bullets, but he found that his opponent had not moved at all. This should be a good thing for Homer. If the opponent did not move, then it meant that he did not need to change his direction. If the knife did not change its direction, then of course it would be faster. However, Homer felt that something was wrong. Countless killings had given him a kind of intuition. Whether it was wrong or not, at this moment he did not have a second choice. He had to chop down with his knife. At this moment, a powerful imposing aura pressed down on him. Homer was still in the air. He had never seen such a powerful imposing aura before. Even if he had seen a domain-level demon insect, it would not have such a powerful imposing aura. Moreover, this powerful imposing aura almost made him unable to breathe, not to mention that he would not be able to keep the long knife in his hand. A big foot appeared in front of him without any warning, causing him to find that his long knife could not fall in time. Bang! Homer heard the sound of the bones in his face breaking. He could not help but fly upside down before crashing into the hard wall. Ding-dang! A crisp sound emerged as the long knife in Homer's hand fell to the ground. His knife had not yet completely chopped down, but it had already fallen. Homer sat on the ground in a daze. He had forgotten the pain of the broken bones in his face. Until now, he still did not understand how he lost. A sense of shame welled up in his heart. He, Homer, had killed countless people, and was also the second strongest among the top 5 experts in the world. If he had lost, then he would have lost. Moreover, it was only a single kick to the face. If he had not made the first move, then he would not even have the ability to fight back. Homer's pronunciation was not very clear. He stared at Ning Cheng in shock. How could there be such an expert like Ning Cheng in this world? I don't have time to talk with you. Ning Cheng raised his hand and threw a fireball at him. Homer looked at the flames surrounding him in horror, while his mind went completely blank. At his level, he had already heard about the matter of internal chi converging into fire. However, seeing it with his own eyes was a completely different thing. When Ning Cheng returned to the second floor, Delandy had already cleaned up Quake. Although there were more people on the second floor, it was not as crowded and noisy as before. Ning Cheng also saw Shelley and Monk Ruei-Chin coming here. He knew that Delandy should have called them over. Delandy should be afraid of Homer. Senior Ning, Monk Ruei-Chin, Shelley, and I will go up to negotiate with Homer. Seeing Ning Cheng coming over, Delandy quickly came over and spoke up. Ning Cheng smiled and spoke, "No need. Homer has already disappeared from this world. You don't have to worry about this kind of person." Delandy subconsciously shivered. Homer had disappeared. Obviously, this senior Ning was the one who killed him. Ning Cheng definitely had the ability to do so, he did not doubt it for even half a moment. It was ridiculous that he had thought that this senior Ning was easy to talk to. But now it seems that this person did not kill him, Delandy, because he, Delandy, did not really offend him. If he, Delandy, dared to offend him, then the next moment he, Delandy, would also disappear without a trace. At this moment, Delandy completely faced up to his own role in front of Ning Cheng. Senior Ning, some of the experts are heading towards this place. Why don't we hold an auction in a few days to auction these things? Delandy whispered in Ning Cheng's ear. Ning Cheng knew that this way, these things would sell for a higher price. However, he was not interested in such a tedious thing. No need, I will sell them now. Saying that, Ning Cheng once again asked, Rulin, did that Tian Yen come? Ning Rulin was just about to speak to her big brother about this matter, but when her big brother asked, she immediately whispered, Tian Yen did not come, but that Tian Huanyu came. After he saw me and Dai Xing, he immediately left. I guess that he went back to report to Tian Yen. If my guess is not wrong, then Tian Yen should be coming here soon. I know. Ning Cheng nodded. He would not wait for Tian Yen to come here. He would take the initiative to visit this Tian Yen. Daring to have ideas about Rulin, this fellow was truly blind. Thinking of this, Ning Cheng turned to Ning Rulin and Dai Xing and spoke. Rulin, I have something to take care of. As for the sale of the things here, I will leave it to you and Dai Xing. You can focus on Dai Xin as much as possible. As for how much you want to sell it for, Dai Xin can make the decision. With the Delandy trio here, no one would dare to cause trouble. Delandy quickly spoke up, you can rest assured that nothing will happen here. Elder brother Xiaocheng, Dai Xian's eyes turned slightly red. She understood the meaning behind Ning Cheng's words. After this matter was over, elder brother Xiaocheng would leave with Rulin, while she would continue to stay here. Ning Cheng gave out a sigh. He could only help her with this much. The spiritual qi on earth was scarce. Teaching a man to fish was not as good as teaching a man to fish. Even if Dai Xian became a true cultivator, she could not just rely on the resources that she had left behind for cultivation. If she wanted to purchase cultivation resources and search for cultivation resources, then she would need the support of a huge business. This was what Tian Muwan did. If Tian Muwan could do it, then presumably Dai Xing could also do it. What's more, he did not only want to help Dai Xian alone. After he left, the sisters who had taken care of Rulin in the past, such as Li Shiyun, could also enter Cheng Rulin's business group. Chapter 378. In the Outer Domain Hotel, Tian Yen quietly listened to Tian Huanyu's words, while the glass in his hand almost shattered. After a long time, he took a deep breath and asked, Are you sure that the person who shot Quake was Ning Rulin's elder brother, Ning Xiaocheng? I'm sure, little Miss Muwen, and that Ning Xiaocheng had some connections in the past. I've seen him before. It looks like that Delandy cares a lot about Ning Rulin. Otherwise, it would be impossible for him to take such a big risk to offend Homer. Tian Huanyu carefully replied. Delandy. Blue veins popped up on the back of Tian Yan's hand. He could not afford to offend either of these two people. Do not look at his Tian family having a place in the 100 Bay Point. It was all because little Miss Muwen knew some experts. Those experts also seemed to respect little Miss Muwen, which allowed his Tian family to gain a foothold in the 100 Bay Point. However, even with little Miss Muwen, the Tian family and the 5 major experts were not on the same level. Young Master Yen, I think that Homer and Delandy will soon start fighting. We might as well be the fishermen. Tian Huanyu whispered from the side. Tian Yen was silent for a long time before he slowly spoke. Even if you want to be a fisherman, you also need to have a certain level of strength. If you do not have a certain level of strength, then you would not be a fisherman, but a joke. There are actually so many good things in this exchange. When will Muwen arrive? Although he asked, he still had some doubts in his heart. It stood to reason that Delandy would not offend Homer for a woman, right? It simply did not make any sense. Ning Rulin was indeed very beautiful, but for a person like Delandy, what kind of woman would he not be able to find? Tian Huanyu knew about Tian Yan's thoughts and quickly spoke up from the side. Little Miss Muin is already on her way to the 100-bay point and should be arriving soon. Little Miss Muin does not cultivate ordinary martial arts. I think elder brother Yen should. Tian Huanyu could feel that Tian Yan's mood had turned good, and once again changed the form of address back to elder brother Yen. Tian Yen waved his hand to interrupt Tian Huanyu's words. I know what to do, I don't need you to teach me. Go and kill those incompetent fellows from the outer domain insect nucleus merchant house. When little Miss Muin arrives, just say that Ning Xiaoqing asked Delandy to do it. I'll go right away. Tian Huanyu knew that young Master Yen was ruthless, and this matter was nothing to him. Tian Huanyu had just turned around when he saw Ning Cheng suddenly standing behind him, causing him to call out in fright, "Ghost?" He immediately understood that the person in front of him was Ning Xiaoqing, not a ghost. Ning Xiaoqing, how did you come in? Are you Ning Xiaoqing? Tian Yen also stood up in shock, but he soon calmed down. Ning Xiaoqing was just a nobody who had been wandering outside for a few years. Ning Cheng ignored Tian Yen. He looked at Tian Huanyu and spoke. You don't have to go, I just want to ask you a question. Did you frame Ruolan's company? What frame up? For your sister to be able to climb up to the Tian clan, you should rejoice. Tian Huanyu estimated in his heart that Ning Xiaoqing should have secretly followed him here. The security guards at the entrance of the hotel were trash. It seemed that he had to rectify them. Ning Cheng simply did not have any interest in asking a second sentence, as he raised the magnetic source pistol and fired a shot. Seeing a bloody hole appear between Tian Huanyu's eyebrows as he fell down, Tian Yen opened his mouth wide and did not react for a long time. When he finally recovered, he realized that the person in front of him had even dared to kill Quake, so if he wanted to kill Tian Yen, then it would be as simple as pinching an ant. Big brother, please forgive me, I did not know about these things. It was that bastard Tian Huanyu who added oil and vinegar. Tian Yen immediately knelt down. Bang, another light sound emerged. Ning Cheng did not even have the interest to listen to Tian Yan's words. This kind of trash was not worth his time. Although Tian Yen and Tian Huanyu's blood covered the entire room, Ning Cheng did not use a fireball to extinguish the two corpses. He had come here to warn the Tian clan that they should not make a move against the Cheng Ruolan company in the future. Sure enough, having a backer really gives you confidence. I haven't seen you for a few days, but not only do you have a magnetic source pistol, even your killing skills have become so neat. A sarcastic and crisp voice arrived. Ning Cheng did not need to look to know that it was Tian Muwan. Since Tian Muwan had come, then there was no need to avoid her. If Cheng Ruolan Company wanted to develop in the hands of Dai Xin, then sooner or later he would have to face Tian Muwan. He might as well face it while he was here. Although he killed the Tian clans Tian Yen and Tian Huanyu, Ning Cheng did not feel even half a shred of guilt. If he had not returned in time, his sister Ruolan would have been swallowed whole by those two bastards. It would be strange if he was still polite. Ning Cheng quietly looked at Tian Muwan, but did not explain, nor did he speak. He was thinking about whether or not Tian Muwan would act against him. Why don't you kill me too? I am also a member of the Tian clan. Tian Muwan, on seeing Ning Cheng not speaking, spoke in an even colder tone. No matter who it is, as long as they dare to touch my sister Ruolan, I will kill them. It was like this before, it is like this now, and it will still be like this in the future. Ning Cheng spoke in a flat tone. He suddenly felt a little sad in his heart. Even if he and Tian Muwan could not go back to the way they were before, it would not have turned out like this. Now, how could he and Tian Muwan still look like their first love? There were some things that he had forced himself to forget, but when he really faced them, he realized that he had not completely forgotten them. If Tian Muwan really wanted to attack him, would he be able to do it? Ning Cheng secretly sighed in his heart. He could not tolerate anyone hurting Ruolan, but if Tian Muwan did not attack Ruolan, but instead attacked him, he found that he would not be able to fight back against Tian Muwan. Tian Muwan was angered by Ning Cheng's flat and cold tone. Now was the insect-tide era, where strength reigned supreme. However, just because she tried to curry favor with Delandy, she immediately became so indifferent. If you care so much about your sister, then why did you push your sister to Delandy? Hypocrite, Hypocrite. Thinking about how she had withstood the huge pressure from her family, and had been with him for more than 2 years, only to go missing. Even if she was scolded by others, she would not come out for a few years. Seeing him once, thinking that he was amazing, she did not even bother to speak and just turned around and left. So what if Delandy was one of the 5 major experts? She was a true cultivator who could operate her spiritual sense. Even if it was Delandy in her eyes, he was just a boorish fellow. Killing her Tian clan's next clan head, and with such a light sentence, did he think that she, Tian Mu Wan, was a dead person? Seeing Tian Mu Wan's chest heaving up and down, while her face was so cold that it almost turned into ice, Ning Cheng remained silent. You are such an arrogant person. If you don't want my bank card, then why bother to curry favor with Delandy? Pushing your own sister out, do you think you have any pride? So it turns out that your arrogance can only be used on me. Tian Mu Wan herself could not figure out why she was so angry. After cultivating, her state of mind was no longer as impetuous as before. However, in front of Ning Cheng, she still could not hold back her anger. Ning Cheng's anger gradually rose up. Speaking about him was fine, but he did not want to involve Ruolan. No matter what I do, at least I would not deliberately hand over the things given by my lover to an unrelated person and throw them into the sewers. Also, the 2 families are well matched. Ning Cheng had not even finished his sentence when he regretted it. It was already in the past, so what was the point of bringing it up again? Why would he lower himself to the same level as a woman? He sighed, and the anger in his heart disappeared without a trace in an instant. Even if this matter had left an indelible mark on him, but in the end, it was already in the past. Moreover, it was also impossible for them to live in the same place in the future. Tian Mu Wan's anger surged up as she opened her mouth and spat out a mouthful of blood. The next moment, her hand moved to her waist, and a soft sword stabbed out. The soft sword, with a touch of cold light, directly stabbed towards Ning Cheng's chest. Ning Cheng regretted mentioning this matter, but seeing Tian Mu Wan spit out blood, he felt even more guilty in his heart. Seeing the sword coming towards him, he sighed and let the soft sword pierce through his chest. If he did not want to, then even if Tian Mu Wan stabbed him again, she would not be able to hurt him in the slightest. Letting her stab him with this sword was to put an end to the enmity between the 2 of them. He had forced Tian Mu Wan to spit out a mouthful of blood. Tian Mu Wan had stabbed him with her sword, but neither of them owed each other anything. Blood also splashed out, but Ning Cheng did not look at the dumbfounded Tian Mu Wan, who had even let go of the hilt of the sword. He slowly pulled out the soft sword that had pierced his chest, and placed the soft sword on the table in the room, before slowly walking out of the room. You come back for me? Tian Mu Wan cried out, but Ning Cheng's figure had already disappeared without a trace. Chapter 379. Big Brother, I just sold a commander-level insect nucleus for 1 billion. As soon as Ning Cheng returned, Ning Ruolan spoke out in surprise. Ning Cheng smiled, took out 2 talismans and handed them to Dai Exen and Ning Ruolan before speaking. Ruolan, I'm going back to cultivate. Keep this talisman on you. If anyone dares to make a move on you, you will be killed. Break the talisman immediately. I'll be right there. Gray toot toot, if someone dares to be long-winded here, then you can directly bite them. After handing over the talisman to Ning Ruolan and Dai Exen, Ning Cheng also specifically warned Gray toot toot. Elder brother Xiaocheng, are you not coming with us? Dai Exen quickly asked. My strength is too weak. I need to continue cultivating. Finished speaking, Ning Cheng then turned to Delandy and spoke. Delandy, I'll have to trouble you to look after this place. As for the essence weapons here, you, Shelley and Monk Ray Chin can each choose one. After Delandy heard those words, his heart started to palpitate. He had long since taken a fancy to that broad-backed knife. Now that Ning Cheng opened his mouth, he quickly spoke up with excitement. You can rest assured, I will definitely help you take care of it. Seeing Shelley and Monk Ray Chin also excitedly coming up to thank him, Ning Cheng waved his hand, indicating that there was no need to thank them. Ruolan, I'll be cultivating in seclusion in my room for a long time. If there is nothing else, try not to disturb me. After asking Delandy and the other two to help look after him, Ning Qing once again warned Ning Ruolin. Now that he had the help of Delandy and the others, along with Grey Toot Toot, he wanted to restore his strength as soon as possible. Now that he had found his sister, there was no benefit for him to continue staying in this place. It would only bring him more sadness. Senior Ning, Xing Liang just sent a message. He wants to see you. Monk Ruiqing suppressed the excitement of obtaining an essence weapon and whispered, I don't have the time. After Ning Qing finished, he quickly left. As for who Xing Liang was, Ning Qing did not have any interest in knowing about it. With the Delandy trio here, along with Grey Toot Toot, no one would be able to touch even a hair on Ruolin. Seeing that Ning Qing did not even ask about Xing Liang, Monk Ruiqing sighed in his heart. He did not dare to mention it a second time in front of Ning Qing. The reason why Xing Liang dared to let him bring a letter and let Ning Qing wait for him was that he probably did not know how terrifying this senior Ning was. Seeing Ning Qing quickly leaving, Dai Exen whispered in Ning Ruolin's ear, Ruolin, I think that elder brother Xiaoqing's smile was very forced. It seems that he has something on his mind. Not even very happy. Ning Ruolin pursed her lips and did not answer Dai Exen's words. When her brother came back, he didn't look too good. The only one who could influence his big brother was definitely that Tian Mu-wan. Needless to say, Tian Mu-wan had already come to the 100 Bay point. Seeing that Ruolin was feeling down, Dai Exen quickly said, Ruolin, let's talk about this when we get back. After that, Dai Exen loudly spoke, we have just sold a commander-level insect nucleus, now we are going to sell a low-grade essence weapon. The starting price is 1 billion euros. It stood to reason that the price of an essence weapon was much higher than that of a commander-level insect nucleus, but after Dai Exen quoted the price, it caused an awkward silence. Everyone was well aware of the function of a commander-level insect nucleus. It was certain that it could enhance one's cultivation to a whole new level, but this essence weapon, with the exception of a small number of people, most people did not know about it. So who knew whether it was real or fake? Some of the people who knew about the essence weapons were not worried about whether the essence weapons here were real or fake. Instead, they were worried about how to raise money. Little sister Ruolin. It's really you. A pleasantly surprised voice sounded out, and then Ning Ruolin saw a face that was just as surprised as the voice. She looked at this very beautiful and pleasantly surprised woman in doubt. She did not know who this woman was, because she did not know her at all. You certainly don't know me, but your big brother is already here. My name is Xing Jiyun, and your big brother is. The woman hesitated for a moment before continuing, friend. After saying the word, friend, her complexion turned somewhat unnatural. Anyone could see that she and Ning Ruolin's big brother's friend were not ordinary friends. Are you my big brother's friend? Ning Ruolin looked at Xing Jiyun in doubt. Her big brother had left for a few years, and she had never seen her big brother's friend come to help her. So why did her big brother's friend come the moment he came back? If one had to say who regretted it the most in the past few days, then it would definitely be Xing Jiyun. She hated herself for growing up a few years, causing her vision to get worse and worse. Ning Qing often worked at the construction site in the past, causing her to become accustomed to it. So why did she feel that Ning Qing had no future when she saw him for the first time after 3 years? At that time, she had already determined that Ning Qing was not ordinary. So why did her views change after graduation? How could a good-for-nothing person make a 5-star battle officer call him big brother? How could a good-for-nothing person's sister put up a commander-level insect nucleus booth in this place? Thinking back to a few days ago when she had just met Ning Qing still looked very happy. It was only because she wanted to eat that Ning Qing's happy look disappeared without a trace. After she came to know that Yin Yihui, who addressed Ning Qing as big brother, was a 5-star battle officer, she had immediately started looking for Ning Qing. It was not until this insect materials exchange meet that she came to know that the owner of this booth was Ning Qing's sister. Ning Ruolin, where is Ning Xiaoqing? I want to see him. Another cold voice sounded out. Hey Muan, you also came. I was going to look for you. Xing Jiyun greeted with even more joy. Tian Muan's complexion turned a bit pale. She coldly glanced at Zheng Jiun and spoke, "I can't afford to have a backstabbing friend like you. If what you said was true, then you would not have come here now. You should have reaped the harvest a few days ago." Hearing Tian Yuan's unceremonious words, even if Zheng Jiun played along, she could not help but feel a bit embarrassed. She understood the meaning behind Tian Yuan's words. After Ning Cheng appeared, she, Tian Yuan, had already told her about Ning Cheng. If she, Zheng Jiun, really liked Ning Cheng, then she would not have left Ning Cheng at that time. At that time, when she saw Ning Cheng, she did not hesitate to leave Ning Cheng. That was the same as ridiculing her, Zheng Jiun, for not really liking Ning Cheng. She was just being selfish and taking advantage of him. Ning Rulin calmly stared at Tian Yuan and spoke, "Our poor family cannot afford to climb up to your rich and powerful family. My big brother also needs to rest. I ask you, eldest Miss Tian, to be magnanimous and let us brother and sister go." Tian Yuan did not speak, nor did she refute even half a word. She just slowly turned around and slowly walked out of the crowd before quickly disappearing. Ning Cheng returned to the hotel. He just wanted to restore his cultivation as soon as possible and leave this place. In this place, apart from his little sister Rulin, he really did not have any good memories. Inside the miniature world, Ning Cheng arranged several spiritual gathering arrays and began to crazily absorb the spiritual qi. Essence building first level, second level. A week later, Ning Cheng had already recovered to the essence building realm 9th level. Although he knew that Ning Rulin and Dai Xian would not have any problems, Ning Cheng still took the initiative to come out. "Big brother, did you finish cultivating?" Ning Rulin immediately came over in surprise when Ning Cheng came out. Although she knew that her big brother was in the room, Ning Rulin was still not used to it. Only after seeing her big brother would she feel at ease. Ning Cheng went into closed-door cultivation for a few days, and his cultivation finally reached the 9th level of the essence-building realm, causing his mood to turn slightly better. "Elder brother Xiaocheng, everything has been sold. I didn't sell that high-grade essence weapon, so I kept it." Dai Xian knew that she also needed to cultivate, so keeping an essence weapon might be useful in the future. Moreover, she quite liked that long sword. Ning Cheng had already helped Dai Xian leave behind a ring, but after listening to Dai Xian's words, he did not think much about it. After all, everything in the company would belong to Dai Xian in the future. "Little sister Dai Xian, keep this ring. You might not be able to open it now, but once you reach the essence building realm, you will be able to open it. Inside, there are some cultivation resources for you after you reach the essence building realm. As for before you reach the essence building realm, I will leave some spirit stones and medicinal pills for you." Ning Cheng handed the ring to Dai Xian and spoke. Dai Xian took the ring, but felt somewhat uncomfortable in her heart. Now that the Cheng Rulin company had sufficient funds, it was only a matter of time before it grew stronger. Unfortunately, elder brother Xiaocheng had to leave at this time. Moreover, she could not go with elder brother Xiaocheng. She knew that the gap between her and elder brother Xiaocheng was just too big. Although she was not ugly, she could only be said to have average looks. Compared to Rulin, she was simply too far off. Although she also adored elder brother Xiaocheng from the bottom of her heart, she absolutely could not say it out loud. If she said it out loud, then when she was together with elder brother Xiaocheng, it would not be natural at all. "While I was cultivating, was there anything else?" Ning Cheng casually asked. Ning Rulin hesitated for a moment, but still spoke. "Zheng Jiun came to look for you." Seeing that her big brother's complexion was as usual, she felt relieved and continued. "Tian Yuan also came to look for you. I told her that you wanted to rest, so she left without saying anything." After speaking about the two women, Ning Rulin's tone became a lot more relaxed. In addition to that, Xing Liang, the strongest of the 5 major experts, also came. "He could not find you, and seemed to be somewhat unhappy. When he left a message asking you to go to Jing City to see him." Ning Cheng sneered. A trivial martial artist dared to ask him to see him. "I know, you don't have to worry about these things. From now on, I will teach you true cultivation." Ning Cheng directly threw Xing Liang to the side and prepared to teach his younger sister and Dai Xian how to cultivate. "That's right, big brother, There is also a person by the name of Yin Ihue who came to look for you. He said that he is your friend. When he came, he was badly injured. After I asked Delandi to help treat him, he decided to stay in our hotel. Ning Ruolin remembered that a few days ago, when Yin Ihue came here covered in scars, she quickly spoke out. Yin Ihue was injured? Ning Chung suddenly stood up. I'll go and have a look. Yin Ihue was a good person. When Ning Cheng had just returned, Yin Ihue had also given him the first insect nucleus. Elder brother Ning. Yin Ihue, on seeing Ning Cheng standing at the door, immediately called out in surprise. He had thought that he would never be able to see this elder brother Ning again. However, he did not expect that after escaping to the 100 Bay Point, he would immediately be picked up by elder brother Ning's name. Not only that, but Delandi would also personally help him heal. How did you get injured so badly? Ning Cheng could see with a glance that Yin Ihue had once again suffered a serious internal injury. Moreover, it was completely different from the previous internal injury. Chapter 380. Elder brother Ning, if not for the qi circulating cultivation method that you gave me last time, I would have already lost my life. Yin Ihue calmed down a little. Ning Cheng took out a pill and handed it to Yin Ihue before speaking. Eat this pill, and then circulate the cultivation method that I taught you to dissolve the medicinal properties, and your internal injuries will soon heal. The injuries that Yin Ihue suffered this time were completely different from the last time. The last time was purely an internal injury, but this time it was an internal injury caused by the damage to his meridians. This kind of injury, even in the cultivation world, without pills, it would be very difficult to cure. However, for an Earth Pill Grandmaster like Ning Cheng who was close to reaching Tier 8, this kind of injury was nothing. When Ning Cheng took out the medicinal pill, Yin Ihue did not hesitate and immediately swallowed it down. Just a few minutes later, Yin Ihue stood up in surprise and said, "My injuries are completely healed." Ning Cheng motioned for Yin Ihue to sit down before he asked, "Tell me about the matter. The people who injured you this time should not be simple, right?" For someone to cause damage to the meridians, it was definitely not a pure martial artist like Delandi, but rather someone who had cultivated a trace of spiritual sense. Even if the other party was not a cultivator, his cultivation technique had already surpassed the scope of a martial artist. Regarding this, Ning Cheng did not feel surprised. Since Tian Mu Wan could cultivate, then it would not be surprising for there to be another person. Yin Ihue nodded. Elder brother Ning should know about the jab's line of defense, right? Ning Cheng knew about the jab's line of defense. It was one of the 5 major lines of defense that were jointly established by the entire world after the insect tide broke out on Earth. This line of defense was built on the outermost edge of Russia, near the Ruba Sea. This line of defense was formed by the strongest allied forces of dozens of countries. China was one of them, and it was the main force. Those who could go to the 5 lines of defense to fight against the pests were all elites from various countries. Yin Ihue's skills were formidable. Coupled with the cultivation method taught to him by Ning Cheng, his strength advanced by leaps and bounds. What's more, Yin Ihue also had a high-grade magical artifact. Because my internal injuries have all healed, I made contributions at the border and was promoted to a 1-star battle general. More than a week ago, the Zergs that had been lying in wait suddenly attacked the defense line as if they had taken stimulants. The seemingly inexhaustible swarm of insects almost broke through the jab's line of defense's laser wall. I was also ordered to go to the jab's line of defense along with many other generals to provide support. Speaking till here, the blue veins on Yin Ihue's forehead popped out. I am going to use my life to protect the jab's line of defense. Just like the other battle generals, I will rush to the front lines. Because I had a very good essence weapon, I ended up killing countless insects on the insect battlefield. Is there someone coveting your essence weapon? As Ning Cheng spoke, he already knew that this was definitely the case. Yin Ihue took a few deep breaths before speaking. Yes, it was a person named Yen Ru. He called me over and said that I needed to hand over my essence weapons. He also said that this weapon can only be used to its fullest potential by a true expert, and that it's a complete waste of resources in my hands. Ning Cheng sneered, such a strong reason. Of course I didn't want to. Yen Rui raised his hand and slapped me twice. I couldn't dodge at all. After he slapped me twice, he kicked me in the chest. He spat out a few mouthfuls of blood and was unable to move at all. Yin Yihui clenched his fists, but this is still not the end. Yen Rui even said that I had plotted against a comrade in arms for the reward of killing the insects. He deprived me of my military merits and even took away my 1-star battle general medal, while also taking away my essence weapon. If not for the Jab's line of defense being dangerous, and if not for Sir Delandy of the 5 major experts, I would not have been able to come back. Since Sir Delandy knew that I was a friend of elder brother Ning, he thought of a way to send me back. Ning Cheng frowned. Yen Rui was able to injure Yin Yihui's meridians with just a kick. It showed that he was definitely not an ordinary person. What about Delandy? Although he wanted to teach Yen Rui a lesson, for Ning Cheng, the most important thing was to restore his cultivation. After Sir Delandy sent me back, he immediately returned to the Jab's line of defense. This insect tide was the biggest that I have seen in the last few years. The line of defense not only mobilized the laser cannons, but also dropped a few nuclear bombs in the center of the insect tide. But even so, the insect tide not only did not decrease, but instead increased. I'm afraid. As Yin Yihui spoke till here, he was not angry about his own matters, but rather worried that the insect tide would break through the Jab's line of defense. Once the Jab's line of defense was breached, then the insect tide would sweep in, causing the entire country within the Jab's line of defense to face a huge test of insect infestation. At that time, it would not just be an insect tide, but a real hell. Big brother. Ning Ruolin called out in a worried voice from the side. Once the Jab's line of defense was engulfed by the insect tide, then the 100 Bay Point would just be a piece of food for the insect tide. Ning Cheng hesitated for a moment before speaking. Brother Yihui, the insect tide will eventually be extinguished, you do not have to worry about it. What I mean is that I am about to leave this place with my younger sister. My younger sister has opened a Chung Ruolin Materials company, which Dai Xian will be in charge of. If you are willing, you can join the company to help Dai Xian. Elder brother Ning, I believe in you, I will also listen to you. Even if Ning Cheng had not said it, Yin Yihui did not want to continue going to the Jab's line of defense. When he was plotted against by Yen Rui, no one had stood up to speak up for him. If not for Delandy, he would have already died. Moreover, he was very clear about Ning Cheng's abilities. How could an ordinary person teach him a cultivation method, and yet his internal injuries were completely healed? Could an ordinary person even take out an essence weapon? Could a single pill make him recover? Ning Cheng spent 3 days to pass on the most basic cultivation method to Ning Ruolin and Dai Xian, before leaving some spirit stones to the two of them, before he once again went into seclusion to restore his cultivation. After another 3 days passed by, Ning Cheng's cultivation finally recovered to the profound congealing 2nd level. However, Ning Cheng did not have any plans to go out. He was ready to recover to the soul sculpting 4th level in one fell swoop. A month later, Ning Cheng finally recovered to the soul essence 6th level. At this time, he received a message from his younger sister, Lin Ruolin. Ning Cheng immediately came out of the miniature world. If his younger sister did not have any problems, then she would never send a message to him. After Ning Cheng came out, he not only saw Ning Ruolin, Dai Xian and Yin Yihui, he also saw Delandy. In addition to that, there was also a woman that Ning Cheng did not know. Ning Cheng had never seen such a buxom woman before. Moreover, her face was enough to bring calamity to the people. Even when compared to Tian Muan, it was not the slightest bit worse. Delandy no longer had the same glorious appearance that Ning Cheng had seen for the first time. Almost all of his hair had been burnt off. Although he had changed into a clean set of clothes, Ning Cheng could see that his entire body was covered in wounds. There was even a long blood stain stretching from his chin to his neck, which was quite a ghastly sight. What made Ning Cheng feel happy was that both Ruolin and Dai Xian were cultivators at the Qi Gathering 1st level, which meant that both of them had good primary spiritual roots. What's going on? Ning Cheng looked at Delandy in doubt. Why are your injuries so serious? Did the jab's line of defense get broken by the insects? Ning Cheng estimated that the jab's line of defense should not be able to hold on for much longer. More than a month had passed. Even if the jab's line of defense was more powerful, perhaps it would not be able to stop the endless demon insects. Elder brother Ning, the jab's line of defense is still there, but it will soon be broken. Yi Hui quickly explained. Ning Cheng nodded. He did not care too much about the jab's line of defense. When he left, he would definitely exterminate these insects. However, it did not mean that he had to exterminate them before he recovered his cultivation. This time's insect tide was so ferocious that it must have been personally launched by the insect queen. The fierceness of the insect queen was something that Ning Cheng had heard about in the true cultivation world. However, he was not so noble as to fight against the insect queen with only the cultivation of the essence-building realm. That was not a fight. It would be the same as courting death. Do not look at the fact that the insect queen had not moved out yet. That was because there was no one who could pose a threat to the insect queen. Once such a person appeared, the insect queen would immediately take action. What's more, the person in charge of the line of defense had unexpectedly allowed Yen Rui to bully Yi Hui, who was the one who had made such a huge contribution, causing him to feel disgusted in his heart. The fact that he did not immediately rush to kill Yen Rui was already a sign of his good temper. Hearing Yi Hui call Ning Cheng as elder brother Ning, Delandi also called out, "Elder brother Ning, if not for the elites from the rest of the line of defense coming to support the jab's line of defense, I'm afraid that the jab's line of defense would have already been submerged by the insect tide. Moreover, with the appearance of the insects that can fly recently, the jab's line of defense is in imminent danger. I'm afraid that this line of defense would not be able to hold on for another 3 days. Mr. Ning, the insect tide is still invading. It is everyone's responsibility to protect the earth. If you really have great ability, then why are you hiding in a hotel? Do you really have a conscience? You have so many essence weapons, and can even sell them at such a high price. If you do not take them out for the battle generals at the border to use, then in the future when the jab's line of defense is breached by the insects, then your nest would also be overturned." At this time, the busty and beautiful woman abruptly spoke. Ning Cheng's complexion turned cold. Oh, Yi Hui had killed countless demon insects at the border of the line of defense, so why was he almost killed? Why was his weapon taken away by someone else, and why did no one stand up? The busty woman was suddenly at a loss for words. Although no one in the jab's line of defense spoke about Yi Hui's matter openly, but everyone knew about it secretly. However, she could not control that person at all. Not to say about her, even the commander-in-chief of the jab's line of defense would not be able to control others. Seeing this woman at a loss for words and unable to answer, Ning Cheng coldly spoke up, "Where did you come from? Then get the hell out of here. This is not a place for you to behave atrociously. If you want to kill the insects, then no one will stop you." He had sold 10 essence weapons, which these people had all seen. Yi Hui had taken out an essence weapon, but it was also taken away by someone else. Weren't there many companies selling high-level weapons in the 100 Bay Point? Moreover, no one had come forward to say that it was everyone's responsibility to protect the earth. Moreover, no one had come forward to ask these companies to donate their weapons for free. When this beautiful woman heard Ning Cheng's words, her complexion immediately changed. However, she did not go out. Delandi quickly spoke up from the side, "Elder brother Ning, this is Senior Officer Yi Lei of the jab's line of defense, who is also from China." Because Xing Liang had said in the emergency meeting that he needed to mobilize all the resources, he needs you to come up with even more essence weapons. Therefore, she took the initiative to come along. "Elder brother, yesterday one of the 5 major experts, Xing Liang, brought a message asking you to immediately take the essence weapon in little Xian's hands to the jab's line of defense and hand it over to him. Otherwise, you will have to bear the consequences." Ning Rulin whispered from the side. Previously, her big brother had said that Xing Liang did not need to care about it. Therefore, after she got the news, she did not let her big brother come out. But now that Delandi came, saying that once the jab's line of defense was broken, the 100 Bay Point would cease to exist, Ning Rulin immediately called her big brother out. Ning Cheng sneered, bear the consequences? He wanted to see what kind of serious consequences it would be. Chapter 381. You go back and tell Xing Liang that I will soon come to him to receive serious consequences. Ning Cheng glanced at Yi Lei and spoke in a calm voice. Yi Lei bit her rosy lips until they turned white, but she still did not leave the room. After a while, she said, I wasn't sent by Xing Liang, and I don't have any superior-subordinate relationship with him. Ning Cheng was simply disinclined to answer Yi Lei, as he took out a pill and handed it to Delandi before speaking. This pill is for you to heal your injuries. After you recover from your injuries, as for whether you want to stay or leave, it's all up to you. Saying that, Ning Cheng once again entered his room. He wanted to improve his cultivation. Those who had killed a few insects all thought that they were very great. He was too lazy to care about these things. Once his cultivation was restored, he would exterminate the bugs and leave. Yi Lei, on seeing Ning Cheng enter the room, did not follow him in the end, but also did not leave this place. At this time, on a desert several dozen miles away from the 100 Bay Point, Tian Muwan's face was pale, and her hair was disheveled as she stared at a masked man dressed in red robes in front of her. The flexible sword in her hand had already been broken. However, it wasn't broken in the process of fighting the enemy. Instead, it was broken by the enemy's 2 fingers. That's right, she saw it clearly. The other party only used 2 fingers to break her flexible sword. No matter how she attacked her opponent's 2 fingers could easily clamp the soft sword in her hand. Who are you? Tian Muwan did not continue to attack. She knew that the strength of the person in front of her had already exceeded her imagination. She did not know how many times more brilliant than her, and was simply not on the same level as her. She had also seen the world's 5 major experts, so even if she was not a match for Delandi and the others, her strength would soon be able to approach these people. Although he might not be comparable to Xing Liang, at least he would not be worse than Delandi. But the person in front of her made her feel nothing but despair. Who I am is not important. If I wanted you dead, you would have been reduced to ashes by now, the red-robed man said calmly. Knowing that she would not be able to escape, Tian Muwan calmed down. Although there was a deep fear in her heart, at least it didn't show on the surface. The scarlet-robed man looked at Tian Muwan for a long time before nodding and showing an appreciative look in his eyes. If it were not for the insect outbreak, a woman like you would be sitting in your boudoir drawing your eyebrows. What do you want? Tian Muwan's hand that was holding the soft sword was somewhat pale. She did not know what kind of fate awaited her. You are a cultivator. I can help you build your foundation. You only need to be my disciple. Of course, this disciple will have to fulfill some responsibilities, such as serving me in bed, the masked man in red said calmly. He needed such a woman to dual cultivate with him. The rarest thing was that this woman's cultivation technique was different from his, so they could complement each other. In this place, it was simply too difficult to find a female cultivator who could satisfy him and give him dual cultivation. In your dreams. Tian Muwan's tone became extremely cold. The red-robed man still did not care and said, whether I am dreaming or not, you know it in your heart. I don't even need to make a move, and you won't be able to break free from my pressure. You're such a self-centered little chili pepper. Only an expert like me is suitable for you. No one else is suitable for you. When you first started cultivating, I already knew about it. I didn't expect that after not seeing you for such a short time, you would make such a big progress. Believe me, following me is the right thing to do. Wait for me to go a step further, and then I will go and capture that insect queen. You can follow me as a female disciple, it would be your blessing. As long as you serve me well, even if you take the essence of the insect nest, I can still give you some of it. Tian Muwan was stunned. A self-centered little chili pepper? Her self-centered personality? Although she did not dare to say that she was as gentle as those noble young ladies, but she was definitely not a person with a self-centered personality. Just kill me. Tian Muwan spoke out coldly. If she had to dual cultivate with such a person, and become such a person's tool in bed, she might as well die. The red-robed man sneered. Are you refusing a toast only to be forced to drink a forfeit? After I kill you, I will still strip you naked and take away your primordial een. For a person like me, whether you are dead or alive, I can take away your primordial een. Then I will refine you into a puppet in bed. Once that happens, humph? Tian Mu Wan couldn't help but shiver. If that was the case, then she would feel more insulted dead than alive. At this moment, she suddenly regretted cultivating. If she had not cultivated, then this kind of thing would never have happened to her. If she had not cultivated? She suddenly thought of Ning Cheng at this moment. If she had not cultivated, would she have treated Ning Cheng like that? If Ning Cheng had not appeared for 3 years, she would have been very angry, very annoyed, but she would never have been heartless. Because she had cultivated, she thought that the two of them were people from 2 completely different worlds. Because of this, she felt that her own thoughts were taken for granted. If she had not cultivated, would she have left that card for Ning Cheng? If she had not cultivated, would she have told Zheng Jiun, the person who had harmed her, to see Ning Cheng? At this moment, she unexpectedly discovered that the reason she had told Zheng Jiun about Ning Cheng was because she wanted Zheng Jiun and Ning Cheng to walk together. Why did she want to do this? At this moment, Tian Mu Wan's mind once again replayed the scene from 3 years ago, when she had given the pearl hair clip that Ning Cheng had given to her to Cha Ziyi in front of Ning Cheng. Even when Cha Ziyi deliberately threw the pearl hair clip into the gutter, she had even asked Cha Ziyi to buy one for her in front of Ning Cheng. What kind of person Ning Cheng was, what kind of character he had, she was very clear about it. This was tantamount to repeatedly throwing salt into his heart. It was tantamount to slapping his face in front of other men. No, for him, this was an insult that was even worse than slapping his face. Because she had always felt guilty about this matter, she was not willing to face it, not willing to admit it. Even if she had pushed Zheng Jiun to Ning Cheng, to let Ning Cheng have a good home, it was still a subconscious act of guilt that she was not willing to face. Otherwise, how could she tell Zheng Jiun about Ning Cheng's return when Zheng Jiun tried to harm her in the past? She had always thought that when Ning Cheng came back, he should have apologized to her, and then said that he should not have not contacted her for 3 years, and that he should not have left without saying a word. If he had done so, she might have explained to him what had happened in the past. Then she would have said that the two of them were no longer suitable for each other, and that they could still be friends. Perhaps it would have been a happy ending, and it would not have turned out like this. Do I really have an egotistical personality? Contrary to the expectations of the scarlet-robed man, Tian Nguyen remained silent for a while, before unexpectedly calmly asking about an irrelevant matter. The scarlet-robed man laughed. What's wrong with having an egotistical personality? The Tao of cultivators is supreme, and all obstacles in their way are destroyed. Only with a strong heart can one walk to the end. I understand. Tian Nguyen grabbed the pearl hair clip on her chest and murmured. She had never explained anything to Ning Cheng from the beginning to the end, nor had she asked Ning Cheng why he did not appear for 3 years. Even when she went to the 100 Bay Point a month ago, she had come to know that Ning Cheng had pushed his sister Ning Rulan to Delandi to curry favor with him. She had never thought about whether these things were true or false, nor had she investigated whether these things were true or false. Not to mention a month ago, she had also been prejudiced by Zheng Jiun at that time, which led to a misunderstanding between the two. Unfortunately, whether Zheng Jiun approached her or Ning Cheng, it was all a ploy with a purpose. It was not until that day when she stabbed Ning Cheng with her soft sword that she thought of going to see him again. However, he was not willing to see her anymore. I beg you to let us brother and sister go. Ning Rulan's words were still ringing in her ears. After she heard Ning Rulan's words, she immediately gave up on the idea. So what if I see him? So what if I don't see him? Ning Cheng and I will never cross paths again in the future. I don't have much patience to wait for you. If you are willing, then follow me. If you are not willing, then I will take you away directly. The scarlet-robed man's patience was gradually wearing thin. Tian Nguyen took a long breath and slowly spoke, I am willing. The scarlet-robed man did not feel surprised and nodded. You are very smart. I like smart people. In that case, let's go now. I will help you build your foundation as soon as possible. However, I have a condition. Before I leave, I want to see a person. Otherwise, even if you want to refine me into a puppet, It is also up to you. Tian Yuan once again spoke with a firm tone, without even half a shred of leeway. The scarlet-robed man's eyes flashed with a cold light before he spoke in a cold voice. Very well, I will wait for you here. I believe that you will come back soon. You are not a stupid person. Remember, as well as all the people of your Tian clan. Tian Yuan shuddered. She suddenly felt that if she wanted to see Ning Qing before she died, this idea was simply an idiotic idea. This was clearly telling the other party that they should kill Ning Qing. However, after the words came out, she simply had no way to take them back. Soon, she gave a deep sigh in her heart. Even if she did not want to see him, this scarlet-robed man had already investigated her. How could he not know who Tian Yuan's first love was? She simply could not die. Once she died, not only would Ning Qing be buried with her, but all the people of the Tian clan would also be buried with her. One day later, Ning Qing came out of the miniature world with the cultivation of Soul Essence 7th level. He should go to the Jab's line of defense to have a look. If he waited for the line of defense to break, then he would not even be able to find Yen Rui's corpse. Ning Qing did not sweep out with his spiritual consciousness and directly open the door. This was a suite that he shared with his younger sister Ruolin and Dai Exe. As such, it was not convenient for him to sweep out with his spiritual consciousness. Big brother, she came. She said that she must see you, and is not willing to leave. Ning Ruolin immediately came over when Ning Qing opened the door. Ning Ruolin did not need to say anything, as Ning Qing had already seen Tian Yuan's pale face. Seeing Tian Yuan this time, Ning Qing felt a little different. Come in. Ning Qing spoke out calmly. Everything was already over for him. He could not understand why a proud person like Tian Yuan would come looking for him. Was it because he killed Tian Yen? Killing Tian Yen, Ning Qing simply did not care about it. Chapter 382. Ning Qing closed the door and calmly stared at Tian Muwan, but did not ask anything. He was already at the Soul Essence 7th level. As such, if he wanted to restore his strength to the 4th level of the Soul Sculpting Realm, then he would need at most a week or two. In a week or two he would leave. There was no point in talking to Tian Muwan anymore. Tian Muwan saw Ning Qing looking at her without speaking, and also did not ask anything. Her lips trembled for a long time before she said, "I'm sorry." These 3 words were very light. If not for Ning Qing's cultivation, he would not have been able to hear these 3 words clearly. Ning Qing suddenly felt a bit stuffy. He and Tian Muwan had not been together for a day or two. He knew Tian Muwan very well, at least he had never heard Tian Muwan say these 3 words. Ning Qing was somewhat stunned. He could see that the sharpness in Tian Muwan's eyes had completely disappeared, replaced by a deep sadness. That kind of sorrow made people feel flustered, and their chests felt even more stuffy. Why are you looking for me? Ning Qing felt that his throat was a bit dry. He did not want to see Tian Muwan look at him like this. I have some regrets. Tian Muwan stared straight at Ning Qing. Her expression was as if she could not wait to take Ning Qing away with her own eyes. What do you regret? Ning Qing subconsciously asked, completely not knowing the purpose of his question. Immediately he thought that Tian Yuan and Zheng Jiun had the same thoughts. Did she regret coming because she knew what he was capable of? However, in his heart, Tian Yuan was not such a person. Not to mention that he was a cultivator at the 4th level of Soul Sculpting Realm. Even if it was a powerhouse like elder brother Tsang Wei who could move unhindered across the starry skies, Tian Muwan would never say the word regret. He understood Tian Muwan. Tian Muwan did not answer. She turned around, walked to the door, opened it, and slowly walked out of the room. Only she knew what she regretted. Of course, what she regretted was not that Ning Qing had such a great ability. In fact, she did not even know that Ning Qing was also a true cultivator. What she regretted was that after dating Ning Qing for 2 or 3 years, she unexpectedly did not give her body to Ning Qing. If he had given it to Ning Qing a long time ago, then today's matter would not have happened. Ning Qing was in a daze looking at Tian Muwan's back, when suddenly a spiritual consciousness fluctuation fell on his body. Ning Qing was startled in his heart, and almost leaked out his own spiritual consciousness fluctuation. There are cultivators here? Furthermore, it was a cultivator with a high cultivation level. Otherwise, how could this divine sense sweep into his room? Ning Cheng immediately chased after this spiritual consciousness, and soon saw this spiritual consciousness revolving around Tian Muan. Ning Cheng's spiritual consciousness instantly swept out a few hundred miles from the 100 Bay Point. The next moment he saw a scarlet-robed masked cultivator only a few dozen miles away from the 100 Bay Point. Peak Profound Congealing Realm? Was there really a cultivator at the peak of Profound Congealing Realm on Earth? Ning Cheng sucked in a mouthful of cold air, while secretly rejoicing in his heart. Fortunately, he was not in a hurry to kill those insects. Instead, he stayed here and restored his cultivation to the 7th level of the Essence Soul Realm. Otherwise, even if he was in the Essence Building Realm, he would not be afraid of those at the peak of Profound Congealing Realm, but he would not be as calm as he was now. Not to mention killing the Insect Queen. In just a moment, Ning Cheng understood what was going on. This scarlet-robed cultivator's spiritual consciousness had been following Tian Muwan's body. It was obvious that he wanted to use Tian Muwan as his cultivation furnace. Tian Muwan had come to see him as a farewell before her death. Ning Cheng clenched his fists, no matter how arrogant Tian Muwan was, or how she did not put him in her eyes. He would not allow a profound congealing ant to defile her and turn her into a cultivation furnace. This scarlet-robed beast was simply courting death. Big brother. She has already left, you don't have to feel sad, there are some things that you should let go of. Ning Ruolin, on seeing Ning Cheng standing at the door with his fists clenched, with an ashen complexion, quickly came up to comfort him. She thought that it was because of Tian Muwan's matter that made Ning Cheng sad. Ning Cheng sighed as he stroked Ning Ruolin's hair with his hand and spoke. Ruolin, I'm going out for a few days, you stay here and cultivate well. When I come back we will have to leave. Ning Ruolin replied in a well-behaved manner. Being together with her big brother, she was the happiest. After Ning Cheng walked out of the 100 Bay Point, he stopped, before he turned around and spoke in a cold voice. What are you following me for? Take that back with you, I don't buy it. Ning Cheng had already planned to take care of this scarlet-robed man, and then immediately go to the Jab's line of defense. However, he did not expect that Yi Lei would once again follow him. He had thought that after he rejected Yi Lei, a person like Yi Lei would immediately leave, but he did not expect that she would remain in the Qing Ruolin Hotel. Now that he had come out, she immediately followed him. Just a day ago, Yi Lei, who was still talking to Ning Cheng, suddenly knelt down in front of Ning Cheng with a thump and spoke, Elder brother Ning, I beg you to help the Jab's line of defense. Don't let those insects rush into our home. In just one day, Yi Lei had already heard too many things about Ning Cheng in the 100 Bay Point. Homer, one of the 5 major experts, had suddenly disappeared after Ning Cheng had shot Quake to death. As long as one of the 5 major experts was a slightly smart person, they would be able to guess that this matter definitely had something to do with Ning Cheng. Not only that, even Delandy, Shelley and Monk Ray Ching, who were among the world's 5 major experts, were also submissive towards Ning Cheng. It was not like the rumors from the outside, that Ning Cheng wanted to push his sister to Ning Ruolin. In front of Ning Cheng, Delandy's relationship was more like that between a junior and an elder. Ning Cheng originally did not have much of a favorable impression towards people like Yi Lei. When she wanted others to pay a price, she would come, but once things were stable she would act like a tyrant. However, he did not expect that Yi Lei would turn out to be such a sentimental person, to the point that she would even kneel down in front of him for the sake of her earth. Although Ning Cheng had tumbled and crawled in the true cultivation world for many years, he did not say that he was unmoved by force or persuasion. However, it was not that easy for others to plead for him. However, when he looked at Yi Lei, he really saw a compassionate heart. This woman did not come here for herself, nor for others. Rather, she really wanted to ask him for help. She really wanted to ask him for help for the sake of her earth. Elder brother Ning, Yi Lei admits that she still has a bit of beauty. As long as you can take out an essence weapon, and go to the Jab's line of defense to resist the demon insects, Yi Lei's entire body will be yours. No matter what you do to me, I will not have any complaints. There was one more thing that Yi Lei did not dare to say, that is, the secret plan to sneak attack the insect queen. As long as the queen insect was killed, the rest of the insects would slowly decrease and eventually be destroyed by humans. She initially thought that Ning Cheng only had essence weapons, but after investigating the 100 Bay Point, she vaguely realized that Ning Cheng might be a peerless expert. Only a peerless expert like him could ambush the insect queen. It was not that there were no top-notch experts within the Jab's line of defense, but none of them could be mobilized by her Ilay. Moreover, none of them were willing to listen to her Ilay's words. Now they knew that Ning Cheng was an expert. Moreover, Ning Cheng came from a poor background, without any family backing him up. Other than begging Ning Cheng, she simply had no other way. As for Ning Cheng's Yan Rui, Xing Liang and the others, not to mention transferring them, even if she asked them, they would not pay any attention to her. Ning Cheng gave out a sigh as he reached out to help Ilay up and spoke. Ilay, the fact is that I came out this time was to go to the Jab's line of defense. Don't worry, I'm ready to make a move. Ilay was pleasantly surprised as she looked at Ning Cheng. She did not understand why Ning Cheng had suddenly changed so much. Just a day ago, he had told her to get lost, but now he was willing to make a move? Was it because she was willing to sacrifice her body? However, even if that was the case, she was willing to do it, without even half a shred of remorse. Ilay, who had been in the Jab's line of defense for many years, was very clear that once these insects broke through the line of defense, what kind of disaster would that be? No, it would not be a disaster, but rather destruction. It would be a permanent destruction. Even if the human race disappeared, it would not be impossible. According to her understanding, some of the country's heads of state were already holding a meeting to discuss how to preserve the human race's seeds. Thank you. Ilay did not care about what Ning Cheng wanted to do with her, as long as Ning Cheng agreed to go to the Jab's line of defense. Elder brother Ning, the Jab's line of defense is in imminent danger. Let's go to the hotel now, I will give you my body, and then take my plane to the Jab's line of defense. Ilay spoke these words without even half a shred of shyness. There was not even half a shred of hesitation. Ning Cheng looked at Ilay and spoke, Ilay, I understand your feelings, but don't take out your body to exchange in the future. This is the thing that a woman should be most proud of. Later on, you must give it to a man that you really like, and who also truly likes you. Do not let yourself leave behind any regrets in the future. Let's go, I still have to kill a person before I can go to the Jab's line of defense. Ilay saw Ning Cheng's departing back and quickly followed. She was still thinking about Ning Cheng's words. The scarlet-robed man's spiritual consciousness had always been following Tianmu Wan. He was sure that Tianmu Wan would not dare to give the red pill to her first love at this time. Just in case, his spiritual consciousness did not leave Tianmu Wan for even half a moment. Now that Tianmu Wan slowly walked back, the corners of his mouth showed a trace of a sneer. Under his threat, did she really want to commit suicide? Stop dreaming. Since he started cultivating until now, he had already found countless furnaces, yet none of them dared to say even half a word against him. However, Tianmu Wan's kind of furnaces were definitely the best of the best. Wanting him to help a furnace reach foundation building? He could only laugh in his heart. Unless he was crazy, he would never take out resources to help a furnace reach foundation building. Your speed is very slow. After Tianmu Wan came closer, the scarlet-robed cultivator spoke out a sentence in an indifferent tone. Tianmu Wan did not answer, nor did she make any movements. She could feel that her heart was gradually dying. Take off all your clothes and spread them on the ground. The scarlet-robed cultivator, on seeing Tianmu Wan not speaking, suddenly spoke out. What? Tianmu Wan had planned to die from cultivation deviation while cultivating, so that this devil would not take her as a furnace. However, she did not think that this devil would want to possess her at this moment. Letting her take off her clothes and have an affair with this devil, it would be better to just kill her. Did you not hear what I said? Do you want me to do it? The scarlet-robed cultivator's tone suddenly turned ice cold. Tianmu Wan at this time completely understood. After she came back, the opposite party had already seen that she did not really want to be his furnace. As such, he became angry out of shame and wanted to force himself on her. Tian Mu Wan crazily revolved her true qi, tearing apart her meridians. She wanted to commit suicide. Slut, courting death. The scarlet-robed cultivator angrily cursed, causing Tian Mu Wan's true qi to stagnate before her whole person fainted. The scarlet-robed cultivator raised his hand to grab Tian Mu Wan, but found that he had grabbed empty air. Then he saw Tian Mu Wan being held in the arms of a young man. When did this young man arrive? He did not even notice him for half a moment. Hey, that's not right. Wasn't this the young man that Tian Mu Wan had gone to the hotel to see for the last time? Chapter 383. It's you. It's you? Two voices spoke out almost at the same time. One was from the scarlet-robed man who recognized Ning Cheng, while the other was from Yi Lei who came with Ning Cheng. Ning Cheng looked at Yi Lei's surprised eyes and asked, "Do you know this person?" Yi Lei nodded. Yes, he had been to the Jab's line of defense. I occasionally saw him and Yen Rui together, seemingly discussing something. Moreover, Yen Rui was very respectful towards this person, so his origin should not be simple. The scarlet-robed man's eyes flashed as he stared at Ning Cheng. Ning Cheng had come here, yet he did not discover him. Not only that, he also did not discover Yi Lei following Ning Cheng. It was simply too strange. He already knew about Yi Lei, because she was a woman without spiritual roots, although she was beautiful, but he was not in a hurry to make his move. Now that he wanted to condense his golden core, he needed a woman with a spiritual root as a furnace. For you. The scarlet-robed man did not act rashly. Ning Cheng had carried Tian Mu Wan away too quickly. Moreover, he could not see Ning Cheng's cultivation, so before he knew Ning Cheng's origin and cultivation, he did not want to act rashly. Are you the one who wants Mu Wan as a furnace? Ning Cheng stared at the scarlet-robed man and asked in a cold voice. The scarlet-robed man deliberately frowned. So you and this woman know each other? Since we are all kindred spirits, I certainly will not continue to use her as a furnace. I will take my leave first. I hope we will meet again. Despite saying that, he did not immediately leave. He wanted to test Ning Cheng's reaction. If Ning Cheng was just bluffing and was just a bit faster, then he could not blame him for being impolite. If Ning Cheng was really powerful, then he could always take this furnace next time. As for giving up such a good furnace like Tian Mu Wan, he was absolutely unwilling. On Earth, Tian Mu Wan was definitely the only one with such a cultivation furnace. You're wrong, we will never meet again. As soon as Ning Cheng said those words, the scarlet-robed man immediately felt that something was wrong. He instantly retreated, while simultaneously bringing out a long knife. Yi Lei, who was behind Ning Cheng, did not even see where the scarlet-robed man had hidden his knife. Ning Cheng disdainfully stepped forward and lifted his foot to kick down. He did not even put down Tian Mu Wan, not to mention bringing out a magical weapon. He was just a late-stage soul essence cultivator. If he wanted to kill a profound congealing ant, then he would have to bring out a magical weapon. It would simply be a joke. Seeing Ning Cheng move, the scarlet-robed man felt that the space around him had turned viscous. He felt as if he was a tortoise struggling in the mud, and every movement he made was extremely difficult. He could only watch helplessly as Ning Cheng's foot kicked towards him. In addition to feeling horrified in his heart, his entire person felt as if he had fallen into the coldest ice cave. Lian Yong had never felt this way since his debut. He had always been the one to give others the feeling that anyone who stood in front of him would be crushed by his overwhelming strength. Who would have thought that it would be his turn this time? Who was this person? How could he possess such terrifying strength? This was definitely more than a cultivator who had condensed a golden core. Senior. Junior had eyes but failed to see. Senior, please spare my life. Lian Yong had never begged for mercy before. Today, he had no choice but to beg for mercy. At this moment, he even hated himself for not studying how to beg for mercy in the past. Bang! The long knife in the hands of the scarlet-robed man had not yet fallen, when Ning Cheng stepped on his entire body, causing him to be unable to move. He could clearly hear the sound of his bones breaking. Ning Cheng exerted a bit of force on his foot, causing the scarlet-robed man to spit out a mouthful of blood. He really wanted to continue begging for mercy, but unfortunately, he couldn't even speak at this moment. Don't you know that I was the one who gave this knife to Inihue? I haven't even had the time to look for you, but you actually came looking for me with my knife. Ning Cheng's voice made the scarlet-robed man depressed to the point that he wanted to vomit blood in his heart. When he obtained the long blade, he had already ordered Yen Rui to look for Ning Cheng. Moreover, the reason why he came to the 100 Bay Point was because he heard that a high-grade essence weapon had appeared in the 100 Bay Point. If he had known that this fellow who possessed a high-grade essence weapon was so powerful and terrifying, he would not have dared to come here even if he had to cut off his limbs. Ning Cheng did not immediately trample the scarlet-robed man to death, rather he looked down at Tian Yuan. When Tian Yuan forcibly blew up her meridians, the scarlet-robed man's spiritual consciousness Thorn interrupted her attempt. Apart from him, there was probably no one on earth who could treat this kind of injury. Then he vaguely saw something hanging on Tian Yuan's white neck that was somewhat familiar. It should be the outline of a pearl hair clip. Ning Cheng suddenly felt somewhat dispirited. It was obvious that this pearl hair clip was not the one he had originally given her. The one he had given her was white in color, but this pearl hair clip had a pink edge. He immediately remembered the words that Tian Yuan had spoken to Jia Zi. Since you lost it, you can just buy one for me when you have the time. Let's go. He really did not expect that she would actually buy it. Big brother Ning. Seeing Ning Cheng in a daze, Yi Lei carefully called out. Ning Cheng recovered as he took out a cleansing rain pill and put it in Tian Yuan's mouth. The pill in Tian Yuan's mouth instantly turned into a spiritual liquid before it entered Tian Yuan's body. The cleansing rain pill was a level 6 profound pill and was considered as one of the top profound grade pills for repairing the meridians and dantian. Even in the true cultivation world, the cleansing rain pill was extremely valuable. Even if Tian Yuan's injuries were severe, with the help of the cleansing rain pill, she would only need half a day's time to fully recover. Moreover, she would not even need to circulate her qi to open up the medicinal properties. Ning Cheng found a room card for the external domain hotel from Tian Yuan's pocket. The room card had the exclusive Area 7001 written on it. He handed the room card to Yi Lei and said, Yi Lei, do me a favor, take Tian Yuan to her own room. It is in the external domain Hotel 7001. I believe that with your ability, you would be able to deliver it very quickly. Saying that, Ning Cheng took out a talisman and handed it to Yi Lei. This talisman is an invisibility talisman. You do not need to ask anything. Just hang this talisman on your body. As long as you do not touch anyone, and do not speak to anyone, no one will stop you. Yi Lei's ability might be above that of Inihue, as such sending Tian Yuan to the hotel should not take too much time. Yi Lei received the invisibility talisman in a daze, as well as Tian Yuan in Ning Cheng's hand. Invisibility talisman? Was there such a strange thing in this world? However, she quickly put aside the matter of the invisibility talisman and anxiously spoke. Big brother Ning, I want to take you to the Jab's line of defense and… Ning Cheng waved his hand to stop Yi Lei's words. I know, so you should quickly go back. I will wait for you here. As long as you put Tian Yuan on the bed in her room, Tian Yuan will automatically wake up. You don't have to worry about anything else. Hearing that Ning Cheng would wait for her here, Yi Lei also did not say anything, as she quickly carried Tian Yuan and quickly left. Although she believed that Ning Cheng would not lie to her, but she still wanted to come back as soon as possible. After Yi Lei left, Ning Cheng loosened his foot, looked at the red-haired man and spoke. Tell me, where did you get your true cultivation method? If you dare to lie to me, I will immediately extract your soul. In fact, Ning Cheng did not know how to extract a soul, but he knew that the thing that true cultivators feared the most was extracting and refining the soul. Yes, I will tell you, after I was born, I already had some true cultivation methods in my mind. The more I cultivated, the more things that appeared in my mind. It seems that I am not a person from this place, but rather from another place. The red-robed man quickly spoke. Ning Cheng once again exerted some force with his foot. You're lying. Even if your soul was reborn here, you would not be able to cultivate this fast. The spiritual qi on earth was scarce, Moreover, this guy even treated a high-grade artifact as a treasure. He certainly had not seen any other good things. I said, "Senior, spare my life." The red-robed man once again spat out a mouthful of blood, as he quickly begged for mercy. "Then you speak." Ning Cheng's foot once again loosened. "Senior, if you promise to spare my life, then I will speak." The red-robed man finally found an excuse to threaten Ning Cheng. Ning Cheng simply did not answer the words of this red-robed man. He was a soul essence cultivator. If he was threatened by a profound congealing cultivator without any hidden cards, then he might as well hit his head against tofu. The true essence directly erupted from the soles of his feet, as it began to tear apart the body of the red-robed cultivator. The red-robed cultivator's face twisted in pain. "Senior, I'll speak, please kill me quickly." 10 minutes later, Ning Cheng turned the red-robed cultivator into fine powder with a ball of flame. He already understood why this red-robed cultivator's cultivation was so fast. It turned out that this guy had a wood spiritual root. Moreover, he had also found a place where his cultivation speed was very fast. As long as he cultivated in this place, then his cultivation would definitely rise. Ning Cheng had lived on Earth for more than 20 years, but this was the first time he had heard of the Feral Brook Mountain. According to the words of the red-robed man, this mountain was close to the edge of the southern heaven region. Ning Cheng decided to wait until this matter was over, then he would go to the Feral Brook Mountain to have a look. Who knows if there would be a treasure there? Knowing that this red-robed cultivator did not have a master to teach him, Ning Cheng also felt a bit relieved. At least on Earth, there was no such thing as a true cultivator. Once there was such a person, it would not be a good thing for this place. As for where Tian Mu Wan obtained her cultivation method, Ning Cheng did not want to ask. China's Taoist civilization had existed for thousands of years, so it was not strange for them to have a low-level spiritual sense cultivation method. However, without cultivation resources, not to mention on Earth, even in the Tian continent, one's progress would be limited. For Tian Mu Wan to be able to cultivate to the Qi-gathering 9th level, it was already considered lucky. He simply did not need to think about it. He knew that even if Tian Mu Wan's qualifications were better than Daixion's, her future achievements would not be higher than Daixion's. Yi Lei's speed was indeed very fast. Not only was it fast, but when she came here, she had directly driven a car. "Big brother Ning, I have already sent Tian Mu Wan to her room. Now how do we go to the Jab's line of defense?" After Yi Lei got off the car, her tone became even more respectful. She did not see that scarlet-robed cultivator. Presumably, Ning Cheng had already killed that scarlet-robed cultivator. As for the invisibility talisman that Ning Cheng spoke about, she did not dare to ask about it. The invisibility talisman was exactly the same as what Ning Cheng had said. When she wore the invisibility talisman and entered the extraterrestrial domain hotel, no one stopped her, no one even glanced at her. However, after she left the hotel, the invisibility talisman turned to ashes. This big brother Ning was definitely a capable person. Even the Jab's line of defense's #1 expert, Xing Liang, might not be Ning Cheng's opponent. If Ning Cheng was willing to help, then the Jab's line of defense might really be saved. Chapter 384. Ning Cheng nodded and spoke, "You've worked hard. Now let's take the battle disc." Saying that, Ning Cheng directly brought out the black 5-star battle disc. "Is this a UFO?" Yi Lei was shocked as she looked at the incomparably huge black battle disc in front of her. At this moment, her mind was in chaos. Where did this gigantic flying saucer come from? Why was there a flying saucer in Ning City? Ning Cheng looked at the dumbfounded Yi Lei and spoke, "Yi Lei, when you are with me, if you see anything amazing, then there is no need for you to be shocked, nor do you need to ask about it. This is the first rule. Second, don't spread what you saw around." Yi Lei immediately sobered up and quickly spoke up, "Big brother Ning, I promise that I will not say anything." Ever since swarms of man-eating insects appeared on Earth, Yi Lei had thought that this was the most amazing thing. She didn't expect that there would be something even more amazing here. Such being the case, then let's go to the battle disc. The Jab's line of defense might not be able to hold on for much longer. Ning Cheng spoke up, Hearing the words Jab's line of defense, Lei instantly sobered up. She quickly put aside the countless questions in her mind as she followed Ning Cheng into the battle disc, which she thought was a flying saucer. After Lei entered the battle disc, she once again looked around in a daze. She found that this flying saucer was not like what she had imagined it to be, as there were a lot of control panels and buttons. After she came in, she only saw some leisure rooms. Could it be that this flying saucer could not fly? But for enjoyment? Thinking of enjoyment, Lei subconsciously looked at the big bed. Go to the Jab's line of defense. Ning Cheng did not care about Lei's shock. After he sat down, he directly issued an order. The surface area of the Earth was very small, far from being comparable to the Sifting Orchid star. With such an area, Ning Cheng did not need to give Sifting Orchid a map, as Sifting Orchid's radar would be able to scan it. Lei didn't even feel a tremor before she saw the white clouds around her. In other words, the flying saucer had started to take off. She completely understood that this was a high-tech spaceship. She had never thought that the intelligent technology of a spaceship could reach this level. What kind of technology is this? Even if they developed for another 100 years on Earth, would they be able to reach this level? Lei wanted to ask Ning Cheng about it, but she did not dare to ask, fearing that Ning Cheng would become angry. Previously, Ning Cheng had said not to ask anything. Master, we have arrived at the Jab's line of defense. This line of defense will soon be breached. Please instruct. Roland's abrupt voice gave Lei a fright. She immediately realized that this was the voice of the UFO's AI. This UFO was simply too powerful. Roland really could not bear it. She was just about to ask Ning Cheng where he had obtained this flying saucer, when she saw the crowd of people retreating in all directions. At this moment, the Jab's line of defense had already been breached. Countless fighters were shot down by the flying insects, while innumerable soldiers fighting against the insects ended up being swallowed up by the insects. Other than a faint glow, the laser wall did not emit any more lasers. The laser cannons were also picked up by the huge flying insects' feet and smashed everywhere. With Lei paralyzed, she did not even bother to ask Ning Cheng for help. If not for Ning Cheng wanting to help Tian Muwan, if not for Ning Cheng being delayed for a day, then they would have definitely made it in time. But should he blame Ning Cheng? She simply did not have the qualifications to blame Ning Cheng. In the headquarters of the Jab's line of defense, an old man grabbed the phone and shouted at the top of his lungs. Other than the words emergency, support, kill the insects, and defend from his mouth, one could not even hear a single coherent sentence. Commander Jean, the insects have already breached the line of defense. We should quickly retreat. If we are any later, then we would not be able to leave this place. A young officer walked up to the old man and spoke in a low voice. The old man recovered as he stared at the officer with red eyes and shouted, "You are telling me to retreat? You are telling me to retreat? We have lost so many soldiers, so many people, all in order to defend the line of defense, and now you are telling me to retreat? Fuck off for me." The old man pushed the officer away, before grabbing the phone and shouting at the top of his lungs, "The Jab's line of defense needs reinforcements, requesting reinforcements. I will definitely defend the direction of the Jab's line of defense. I will not retreat even a single step, the Jab's line of defense." Boom! A shadow smashed open the glass window and rushed into the room of the headquarters. It was a huge red flying insect. As soon as the flying insect came in, it immediately clawed at the old man making the phone call. The young officer, who had just advised the old man to retreat, raised the submachine gun in his hand and started shooting. However, when these bullets hit the body of the red flying insect, it was as if they were hitting a steel plate, as it only created a series of sparks. The red flying insect seemed to have been angered by the young officer, as it gave up on the old man and directly tried to grab the young officer. In just a moment, the flying insect grabbed the officer, while at the same time using its two claws, the young officer was torn into two halves, as blood splattered all over the surrounding walls. The old man looked at this scene with eyes that almost popped out, as he put down the phone and pulled out the scimitar from his waist. "Commander Jean, leave this to me, you retreat." A tall man whose Chinese was not very fluent rushed in, while holding a bright and dazzling broadsword in his hand. The old man called Commander Jean calmed down a bit, as he spoke with red eyes. "Sebastian, even if I die on the battlefield like Foley Hill, I will not retreat. Telling me to retreat is an insult to me, Jean Ingxuan. Daring to kill this father's guards, daring to attack this father's home, this father will chop you up." The scimitar in Jean Ingxuan's hands immediately chopped down. Bang! The red flying insect's claw exploded on top of Jean Ingxuan's scimitar, causing the old man to take a few steps back before hitting the wall. However, this red flying insect's claw also started to bleed. Although the submachine gun could not blow up the flying insect, Jean Ingxuan's scimitar had left a mark on it. Not waiting for the red flying insect to rush towards Jean Ingxuan, Sebastian, who had just told Jean Ingxuan to retreat, simultaneously chopped down with his scimitar. The scimitar cut through the air, causing a buzzing sound to ring out. This insect unexpectedly knew that this scimitar was not simple, as such it did not resist it head-on, and instead retreated to avoid the scimitar. The battle in the command headquarters was just one of the countless battles taking place. At this time, in the entire Jab's line of defense, except for a small number of people who had escaped, most of the soldiers, war officers and war generals were fighting against the insects. At every moment, there were countless soldiers being killed, and at every moment, there were even more insects rushing into the Jab's line of defense. Seeing this, Ning Cheng's anger burst out, causing his eyes to turn red. In the Jab's line of defense, although there were many shameless fellows, there were also many people who truly risked their lives to protect their homeland on Earth. These people were all warriors worthy of his respect. He was not a selfish and cold-blooded person from the true cultivation world. This kind of battle where they did not even put their own lives in their eyes completely shocked him. Although the cultivations of these soldiers were very low, but many of them, in order to kill an insect, completely disregarded their own life and death. There were not just one or two of them who perished together with the insects. Sifting orchid, attack with the greatest concentration, do not let even a single insect escape. At the same time, do not hurt a single person. Ning Cheng almost shouted out an order. Prepare the Spirit Stone Cannon, start the rank 5 attack with maximum range and maximum intensity. Just as Sifting Orchid's voice fell, the black battle disc shook slightly, followed by countless dense white lights shooting out. This kind of attack shocked even Ning Cheng. He finally understood the fearsomeness of the rank 5 battle disc. This kind of attack could be felt from all directions. As long as it was within the rank 5 battle disc, it would be able to shoot out these white lights. Moreover, Ning Cheng could clearly hear that the last time the rank 5 battle disc released a rank 1 attack without any difference in life fluctuations, but this time it was a rank 5 attack. The last time it was a red line attack, but this time it was a white light attack. Ning Cheng's gaze fell on the outside of the flying disc, causing him to suck in a mouthful of cold air. He had always thought that the rank 5 battle disc was inferior to him. However, when he saw this kind of attack, he knew that his thoughts were completely wrong. Those densely packed insects, whether they were running on the ground or flying in the air, when swept by this white light, all of them died without exception. Moreover, the battle disc was still constantly moving, and in just less than a minute, Ning Cheng saw a bunch of insects being killed. The densely packed insects in the surroundings instantly reduced, even the densely packed flying insects in the air also disappeared in an instant. Moreover, all the soldiers fighting against the insects did not suffer any casualties. The battle disc's discrimination was both accurate and ruthless. This Yi Lei, who was paralyzed, once again stood up in shock. She was lying outside the transparent window of the battle disc as she watched the endless insects being killed by the battle disc. Her mouth instantly gaped open. She even suspected that she was dreaming. Poof! In the command room, the red flying insect's claw tore off a piece of flesh from Christian's arm. Christian's hand immediately loosened in pain, causing the broadsword to fall to the ground with a clanging sound. Christian's eyes flashed with a trace of despair, but he did not continue to persuade Jean Ingxuan to retreat. He knew the temper of this old man, and at the same time, he also knew that they were finished. At this time, he suddenly heard a sharp cry, a cry that almost tore his eardrums apart. The next moment, the red flying insect that was about to tear him apart unexpectedly rushed out of the command room, no longer paying any attention to him. What's going on? Christian and Zhang Yingxuan looked at each other in dismay. They did not know what was going on. They were well aware of the fierceness of these insects, as such they would never retreat midway when they were about to kill them. A soldier covered in blood rushed in and reported in a hoarse voice, "There is a black flying saucer outside. This flying saucer is very good at killing insects. In just a few minutes, it has already killed tens of millions of insects. Moreover, it is still continuously shooting and killing all kinds of insects. At this time, all the insects have already let go of our alliance army, all of them have received the call of the insect queen, and are collectively attacking the black flying saucer." What did you say? Flying saucer? It killed tens of millions of insects in just a few minutes? Zhang Yingxuan could not understand what this soldier was talking about. However, he quickly sobered up and immediately roared out, "Immediately go out and take a look." As he spoke, everyone rushed out of the command room. You're tuning in to the Passion Pages YouTube channel. We're so grateful for your support, and don't forget to subscribe to join us on this incredible journey through captivating stories. Your generosity through donations truly makes a world of difference, as it's the primary source of revenue that allows me to expand and enhance this channel for you. Thank you from the bottom of my heart for being a part of this adventure.